Chapter 5762. Chapter 5762. Soon, as time went by, the figures of the two gradually disappeared. Huayun Cave is very deep. It doesn't look like a cave at all, it's more like an independent world. And as soon as he entered it, Long Fei felt that there was no aura of prehistoric nature here. In other words, this place is out of the way. Unexpectedly, there is such a place in the prehistoric world. Long Fei was shocked. Now that I think about it, what I know is still not enough. This is a place that even one's own divine sense cannot cover. According to his understanding, there are not many descriptions of the three emperors of Huayun Cave in the prehistoric world, and because of this, he didn't pay too much attention to this place, but now it seems that this is the biggest loophole. No, it should be a variable. I don't know if the prehistoric worlds I'm familiar with are also like this. If the Huayun Cave is also a variable in those worlds, what will be the final result? A thought arose in Long Fei's heart. Back then, when he entered the Earth Immortal Realm and the mythical world on Earth, he witnessed many legendary mythical figures, but the three emperors of Huayun Cave rarely appeared, so that he had no contact with them. But now it seems that this place is the most unique existence in the prehistoric world. Even more unique than Zixiao Palace. Nuwa, why did heaven imprison the three sovereigns here? Long Fei asked. I don't know. After the Great Tribulation, Fuxi and I were the earliest creatures that appeared between the heaven and the earth. Back then we discovered the creation civilization of the human race and unraveled the civilization. Human race appeared between the heaven and the earth. It was nothing at first, but as time went by, the human race became stronger and stronger. Afterwards, many monster races appeared. As Nuwa spoke, her eyes gradually became heavy, as if it was an unbearable time to look back on. But when Long Fei heard it, he felt extremely shocked in his heart. Wrong. Time logic is wrong. According to what Nuwa said, could it be that the appearance of the human race was before the first robbery of the Dragon Han? You said you unsealed the civilization of the human race after the sky was opened? Long Fei asked. Yes. But at that time, the human race was still very weak, not only unable to resist natural disasters, but also unable to resist the demon race. Nuwa said. Long Fei's eyes sank. Numb. Scalp numb. This is completely different from what I know. From what I know, the human race should have gradually entered the stage of history after the Lich. But now according to Nuwa, there were countless eras before. In other words, the human race has experienced three catastrophes? The more he thought about it, the more complicated Long Fei felt. In a trance, his mind wandered. An unexpected picture suddenly appeared in his mind. Human civilization? Let's put it in this world. Apocalypse tribulation still can't change, always leave a little hope. What if we can turn things around in the future? Apocalypse Jia, I'll wait for you. When I come back again, I'll have another wave with you. A figure spoke to himself, and then placed a seed in a cave. The picture disappeared, but Long Fei couldn't calm down. The scene was too real, as if it happened in front of his eyes. Not only that, but the scene was more like he had experienced it himself. Fuck me, did I let go of this civilization? Long Fei was extremely shocked, his heart was shaken. This is your mother. The heifer is playing firecrackers upside down, it's so awesome. He thought about many possibilities, but he never thought that this would be related to him. No, it can't be like this. If I did it, why would I not have the slightest impression? Long Fei fell into self-doubt. And if I did it, why do I feel repelled here? Long Fei's heart was in a mess. He vehemently denied it. This is unbelievable. If it is really done by myself, then there are too many meanings behind it. For a moment, Long Fei stopped in his tracks. What's wrong? Nuwa asked. She felt that Long Fei was getting more and more wrong, her good mood suddenly rose, and now she showed such an unusual posture, which made her feel very surprised. It's okay, I just thought of something. Long Fei didn't explain. After all, this is just a guess, and he himself doesn't know if it's true. The next moment, Long Fei calmed down his mind. Keep going. But this time, his speed was slower, and his eyes kept looking around, as if he wanted to see the strangeness. However, things backfired. More and more familiar. The deeper he went, the more Long Fei felt that he had been here before. My mud horse, what happened? Long Fei felt heavy in his heart. He originally thought that after he became the only one, nothing would affect his mood, but now it seems that he took it for granted. There are too many unknown things. Even if you reach the unique state, you can't be omniscient and omnipotent at all. What's going on? Could it be the sea's means, secretly planning to draw me into another vortex unknowingly? Long Fei thought. But soon, this answer was also denied. Totally unnecessary. He knew Dahai's methods. If Dahai really wanted to plot against him, there was no need to do so much. Nuwa didn't say a word, and she felt more and more difficult. What is it that can make Long Fei show such an expression? You know, he is an existence above the Tao of heaven. Nuwa sensed something was wrong. Long Fei behaved less and less like himself. Long Fei, tell me the truth. What exactly did you perceive? If you don't want to continue, let's leave now. Nuwa said. Inexplicably, seeing Long Fei's expression, she actually felt a little distressed. That's why she didn't want to continue anymore. No matter what was involved behind this, she didn't want to see Long Fei like this. Never mind, continue. Long Fei rejected Nuwa's offer. He knew what Nuwa was thinking, but he wanted to understand what was behind it. Unknown void. In the darkness, Dahai put away the fishing rod in his hand. It seems that he has entered the Huayun cave after all. Hey, can reincarnation really not be changed? Dahai's face was serious, and it was the first time such an expression appeared on his face. Senior, why can't you tell Long Fei directly? If he knows, it may be another result. Aside, Tianqi said suddenly. If I could tell him, I would have told him a long time ago. It's just that some things are more complicated than you think. Dahai said. Apocalypse fell silent. Anyway, he believed that Long Fei would not do anything against his heart, but he also believed in Dahai. Since Dahai said he couldn't tell Long Fei, there must be his reasons. Then, Master, what should we do in this prehistoric world? You have planned for so long, and now that Long Fei has entered Huayun Cave, will the contest between you continue? Tianqi asked. Where is the contest? Do you really think that I am idle and want to decide the outcome with him? Dahai asked back, with an extremely complicated expression on his face. Tianqi was taken aback for a moment. He really wanted to ask a question, didn't he? But seeing Dahai's expression, he swallowed the words that were already on his lips. Look, the following things can only go with the flow. Dahai sighed, and then his figure flickered and disappeared. Chapter 5763. Chapter 5763. In Huayun Cave, Long Fei's deepening continued. As time passed, he had penetrated deep into the Huayun Cave. But this way has traveled dozens of miles, but it seems to be countless light years. Wep. K with Macron USH Mu5. Net, I don't know why, it's been extremely slow here. Especially for Long Fei, the emotions of longing and repulsion are entangled with each other, and the two are like a kind of battle between heaven and man, tormenting his heart. However, Long Fei's thirst for knowledge finally gave birth to the inexplicable feeling in his heart, and he went all the way to the deepest part. Long Fei, below is the real Huayun Cave. Brother Fushi and I also discovered the civilization created by the human race. Are you sure you want to go in now? Nuwa asked. This is the final confirmation. He didn't know what kind of state Long Fei was in now. But her intuition told her that once Long Fei entered the Fire Cloud Cave, something unexpected would definitely happen. Go in. Long Fei, do things, and I haven't had a mother-in-law before. Long Fei said. Now that we've come this far, it doesn't matter what happens next. The important thing is that he wants a result. At the same time, in Huayun Cave, the three emperors looked at each other. Along the way, they all watched it. Emperor, what's going on? Why does he show such an expression, as if he doesn't care much about this? Emperor Shenong asked. Yeah, he looks like he has been here before, and there is something sealed here that prevents him from approaching. Human Emperor Xianyuan also said. This expression is too strange and complicated. And according to what Fu Shi said, it was his first time here, so it didn't make sense with Long Fei's behavior at this time. I don't know, but I believe my judgment. Moreover, since he came here, it means that he has accepted it. So no matter what secrets are hidden here, it doesn't matter anymore. The important thing is that he's here. After Fu Shi pondered, he swiped his hands. Boom! The innate gossip was laid out casually, and then thousands of rays of light emerged in this cave. And this light also pulled out a portal in the void, which was really outside the cave. Looking at the cave in front of him, Long Fei narrowed his eyes. Just about to step in, there was a sudden shock in my mind. It seemed that Pandora's magic box had been opened, and scenes of unwarranted scenes appeared. It's not bad here, it's a natural cave, and it's a special place after Pangu opened the sky. But it's not enough. According to the development of this world, I will definitely go through the era of heavenly Tao in the future. I have to use some means to make this place a place outside the Tao. Otherwise, if Tiandao discovers this place by then, wouldn't it be my means? Found www. Until novel. Com la, that's good, so that even if I fail in the future, I won't fail and won't be completely defeated. One after another voices kept appearing, making Long Fei more and more confused. What the is going on? Why are there so many memories that don't belong to me? Long Fei was confused. This kind of picture is too shocking, it doesn't belong to him at all. But the voice was still his, which was terrifying. Long Fei, what's the matter with you? I always feel that something is wrong with you now. Niwa asked again. From the moment he entered Huayun Cave, Long Fei seemed to be a different person, and he was completely two different people from his previous rebellious appearance. Even at this moment, she wondered if she had made the wrong choice. If she hadn't asked Long Fei to come here, such a change might not have occurred. I can't say it, but now I see a lot of memory images that don't belong to me. Long Fei said. There were more and more pictures, and Long Fei's brain began to become numb. He feels more and more now. That thing is what he put here. How so? Niwa's face became flustered. She naturally didn't want anything wrong with Long Fei. I don't know, but I have a guess now. Long Fei said in a deep voice. What guess? Niwa asked. I suspect that I put this thing here. Long Fei said. Niwa. Niwa couldn't believe it. This is the first time for Long Fei to come here. How could it be possible that he put it here? Although it's unbelievable, I can draw this conclusion from the pictures I have obtained now. Long Fei said. Those pictures were so real, as if they were happening right in front of me. Long Fei himself had to believe it. But you have never been here before. Niwa was also extremely shocked, and said. It was she who discovered the creation of civilization by the human race, so she naturally knew better that it was a distant era, and it is unknown how many years have passed since now. And at that time this prehistoric world did not exist, and at that time the world was in a daze. How could it be that Long Fei put it here? At that time, Long Fei probably didn't know the existence of the prehistoric world. Long Fei didn't say a word. He is also depressed. It doesn't make sense at all. But those pictures don't seem to be fake. Niwa, something is still wrong. Why do you think Heavenly Tao sealed the three sovereigns in this Huayun cave? Long Fei suddenly asked. I don't know, but Daozu once said that this is a place outside the Tao. By sealing this place, a catastrophe may be avoided. And the reason why the three emperors were suppressed here was also because the three emperors were the leaders of the human race and carried the fate of the human race. You can completely seal this place, Niwa said. Long Fei pondered slightly. It seems that Tiandao here must also know something. And in the picture I saw before, I found this place in order to avoid Kai Tiandao. Things get even more confusing here. Heaven. Long Fei pondered for a moment. It seems that in the future we will have to find the way of heaven and have a good chat. But right now, the most important thing is the present. Damn it, don't worry about it. No matter what it is, go in and have a look first. Long Fei made up his mind. Anyway, now that you're here, you have to figure out what's going on. Moreover, this is also related to the competition between himself and the sea this time. So, can't give up. The entrance is in front of you, and the 3 emperors have already opened the door, so how can you not go in? Taking a step forward, Long Fei's figure disappeared into the halo of the portal. Appeared again, already in Huiyun Cave. The 3 of them looked at Long Fei, their expressions moved slightly. An invisible coercion radiated from Long Fei's body, so strong. Is this the existence above the Tao of heaven? All 3 of them had this thought in their hearts. Before, when they looked at Long Fei through the Huiyun Cave, they could only feel the terrifying aura on Long Fei's body, but now in person, they knew what oppression is. Not to mention anything else, it was simply the superior aura that was above the way of heaven, which made them feel oppressed. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body. How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders. Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5764. Chapter 5764. Long Fei looked at the 3 of them with a calm expression. He didn't deliberately show any aura to suppress it. It's just that at his level, there is no need to express it deliberately. The oppression of the level is already natural. Long Fei, put away your breath. Niwa said. Long Fei frowned. I didn't release my breath? He is now in a normal state, and he has not deliberately released it at all. But when he turned around and saw the expressions of the 3 of them, Long Fei understood in his heart. He really wanted to say, is there a possibility that the three of them are too weak? But in the end it was the three emperors of the human race. Long Fei thought about it and suppressed it. After all, Nuwa was here, so he had to show some face. The next moment, he began to suppress. There is no way but to suppress it. But thinking about it, Long Fei felt something was wrong again. If it's your own fault, why can Tianxin and others hold it in the sea of darkness? Something is wrong. For a moment, he set his sights on the three of them. And at this moment, the three of them were even more struck by thunder. Thumb up. Blast back 3 steps in a row. Long Fei's gaze at this time was too aggressive, as if he wanted to see through them. In an instant, the three of them each released their own methods. Fuxi's innate gossip floated above his head. Emperor Shenong's eyes were like copper bells, and his body was flickering with mysterious light. Emperor Xianyuan held Xianyuan's sword to resist. At this moment they all felt a deadly sense of oppression. What do you mean? Fu Shi asked under pressure. No one expected that Long Fei would strike at the slightest disagreement. No warning. Although my realm is a few realms higher than yours, it's not that I can't let you feel the pressure without releasing my breath. If I think, even ordinary people won't feel the pressure, but you show, do you think it is reasonable to be so oppressive? Long Fei asked in a deep voice. The faces of the three turned red. They also didn't expect that Long Fei would use such a reason to attack them. Emperor Shenong and Emperor Xianyuan had some indignant expressions on their faces, and they were all baffled. But Fu Shihuang's face changed slightly, as if thinking of some possibility. Just when Long Fei's aura continued unabated, his eyes sank and he said, I probably know what's going on. Long Fei turned his eyes, say. His breath didn't weaken, and fell on Fushi's body coldly. Back then, Nuwa and I discovered human civilization here, and the three of us all upheld the human way. Fushi said. But when he said this, he paused slightly, as if he was deliberately guiding Long Fei. Long Fei frowned slightly. Inexplicably, Long Fei felt that Fu Shi's words seemed to mean something else. Go on, Long Fei said. Fu Shi shook his head lightly. Don't you already have the answer? Long Fei was taken aback. On the side, Nuwa's face was full of panic. Before she understood what was going on, Long Fei suddenly exploded, which made her at a loss. Fortunately, as Fushi's voice fell, Long Fei's aura gradually calmed down. You mean, all of this is related to the civilization of the human race? Long Fei asked. To be precise, it has something to do with yourself, Fushi said. Long Fei. At this moment, the speculation in his heart resurfaced in his mind. More and more dignified. I guessed before why you became the hope of the human race. I didn't understand it before, but now I guess a little bit. Fushi said. Long Fei's face was heavy, as if he had already guessed what Fushi was going to say. Combined with our current situation, it also shows that my guess is right. As Fushi said, infinite brilliance appeared in his eyes. Although your realm is above the way of heaven, as you said, it is impossible for you not to target us, and we will feel oppressed. There is only one possibility, that is, the power we carry is given by you. See, you are like seeing your ancestors, that's why we have a natural suppression. Fushi continued. At this time, the tension on his face was gone, but infinitely excited. Long Fei. Sure enough, everything confirmed what I had guessed. At this moment, even Long Fei himself began to doubt. Fushi's explanation is reasonable. Although there are still many illogical things, such as why he appeared before the civilization of the prehistoric world, and how he controlled the civilization of the human race. But it must be admitted that Fushi's explanation at this time is impeccable. Yes, that's the only way to explain why the three of us couldn't face you directly. Fushi added. Emperor Shenong and Emperor Xianyuan looked at each other, their throats twitched, and then they looked at Long Fei, their eyes gradually became hot. They didn't have the slightest doubt about Fushi's words. The three of them had discussed with each other for countless years in this fire cloud cave, and they had already trusted each other extremely. Therefore, when Fushi spoke, they would not have any doubts. The eyes of the three of them all fell on Long Fei. "Don't look at me like that, I know I'm handsome, but if you look at me like that, I'll feel embarrassed too," Long Fei said. Three people. Only Nuwa was smiling. In any case, a crisis has now been avoided. She was really afraid that a conflict would break out between the two parties, but fortunately, now that Long Fei's breath was suppressed, she felt relaxed. But she was also curious in her heart, and looked at Long Fei in disbelief. Alfaro. Net it seemed that everything was rightly said by Long Fei. She also thought, could it be that Long Fei really put that thing back? Let's get down to business. You guys discovered the human civilization here? Long Fei changed the subject. Kenshu. Zai with grave Fushi's words made Long Fei feel more confident. Maybe this thing was really put in by myself. Although there are some things I can't figure out, all the signs I am facing now indicate that I have been here before. That's right, we discovered the human civilization here, Fushi explained. Then, he slowly got up. The futon he sat on suddenly shone brightly. Fushi moved it away with his hands, and a broken bead leaked out. Long Fei's eyes suddenly shrank. Inexplicably, a strong sense of familiarity directly impacted my mind. Suddenly, countless pictures appeared in his mind again. It was between a nebula like a huge palm, and between those fingers, one star after another was born. The pillar of creation. Long Fei spoke subconsciously, and as he opened his mouth, the picture disappeared. All three looked at Long Fei suspiciously. Long Fei, what happened? Nuwa stepped forward and asked. Just now Long Fei had an extremely strange expression, as if he had seen some extremely terrifying scene. Unfortunately, they didn't see anything. It's nothing, it's just that I suddenly saw some unnecessary scenes, Long Fei said calmly. The next moment, he held the broken bead in his hand. www.kaho5.net After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, His brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet breeding base. Trainee pet keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system, Beastmaster. Chapter 5765. Chapter 5765. Long Fei tightly grasped the bead in his hand, feeling it lightly. But they found that the faces of the three of Fuxi and Nuwa were shocked. It really is you. Fuxi's eyes were full of surprises. Wep. K with Macron USH Mu 5. Net, what do you mean? Long Fei asked. Let me tell you, when we discovered the seed of human civilization, there was a sentence next to it. Nuwa said. Long Fei, what are you talking about? Nuwa. Dog, even if you think about it, you can't guess that I will have such a method. Long Fei. Long Fei suddenly felt that this sentence was very personal. Ding, those words are very fast, like what you said. At this time, the system suddenly cheated, and a voice came out of its mind. Long Fei. Dog, don't you pretend to be dead? System. I continue to crash. Long Fei, you are a real dog. Long Fei is helpless, but he knows that you can't wake up a system that pretends to be asleep no matter what. Thoughts turn. Taking a step back, what the system said was not wrong, it sounded like he said it, and the system followed him all the way, so there was nothing wrong with his attitude. Did I really put it here? But, why is there no such memory in my mind? Long Fei pondered in his heart. On the other side, the expressions of Nuwa, Fuxi and the others were constantly changing. Nuwa thought it was impossible before, but now seeing that Long Fei can hold this power, he no longer has any doubts in his heart. Is there anything else besides this sentence? Long Fei asked. Nuwa shook her head. No more. But after Brother Fuxi and I released this power, the bead shattered. But even so, it still possesses unimaginable power, let alone hold this power in the hand. Even touching it is not acceptable. W. Alfaro. Net, at the beginning, I thought it was because I was not strong enough, but later I became a sage of heaven, and it still didn't work. Even, I suspect that Daozu once coveted this kind of power, but he couldn't do it, so he imprisoned the three emperors here later. Nuwa said. Long Fei's eyes moved slightly. Even Hong Jun covets this power? It shouldn't be, it's nothing special if you don't see it. Long Fei glanced at the broken bead in his hand in surprise. But at this moment, his face changed drastically. I saw that the beads that had already been broken did not know when they had recovered. Even visible to the naked eye, there are still a little bit of starlight flickering inside, as if some extremely terrifying power is being bred. Hiss! Long Fei gasped. But this is only one of them. What is even more frightening is that he actually saw the shadow of the pillar of creation in it. Just like the scenes of stars that I saw when I entered the place of origin before. The power between the two seems to be from the same source, with some kind of unknowable connection. Ding! Congratulations to the player for discovering the seed of creation. The system's voice reappeared, and there was an indescribable excitement in the voice. The seed of creation? System, what is this? Long Fei asked. He always felt that it was not easy. The system had been playing dead before, but now it suddenly showed such an attitude, he couldn't help but doubt it. Kenshu. Zai with grave, ding, the seed of creation is a tool for carrying civilization, which contains indescribable power, and the system cannot scan it. But the seed can carry civilization, so that even if the apocalypse comes, players can also transfer the civilization where their relatives are. Bring it in. The system said. Long Fei was taken aback. Immediately my heart became excited. Is this the power that can evade the apocalypse? He couldn't believe it. He doesn't know what the apocalypse tribulation exists, but what is certain is that its power is extremely terrifying, possessing the power to destroy heaven and earth. Except for the unique realm, it is impossible for any living being to exist. Unexpectedly, now here, I found something that can avoid the apocalypse. System, where did this thing come from? Isn't it right? If I said that this thing was put here, does that mean that I chose the human civilization here? Long Fei asked. Combined with everything that happened here before, Long Fei was even more puzzled, full of question marks. Ding, I don't know. The system responded. Ding, the system suggests that players can cultivate this power. The system continued. Long Fei, my suggestion here is that it's okay for you, don't make blind suggestions, I don't accept it. Long Fei said ruthlessly. He doesn't have much trust in the system now. Anyway, the system has been broken from time to time, and for me, it has been negligible and basically useless. Ding, please maintain the most basic trust in the system, we are the most sincere fighting partners along the way. The system is becoming more and more humane, and it starts to play the emotional card. But before he finished speaking, Long Fei interrupted directly. Shut up. Do you have the face to say that? Long Fei sneered. Ding, players have misunderstood the system too much. The system continued. However, Long Fei didn't bother to pay attention, and directly shut down the system with a backhand, no more regular meetings. He looked at the orb of creation in his hand. No matter what kind of power it is, but since it exists and falls into his own hands, there must be some involvement. Long Fei, I didn't expect it was really you. Nuo was pleasantly surprised. If it was said that the admiration for Long Fei before was due to Long Fei's strength, then now it is more about gratitude. Because if it weren't for Long Fei, maybe there would never be a human race in this prehistoric world, and if that was the case, they would naturally not be where they are today. The same goes for Fushi and the others. They are all leaders of the human race, but if the human race does not appear, they will naturally not be born. In a sense, Long Fei gave them the possibility to exist. I'm not sure if it's me, but now is not the time to talk about it. Long Fei said. It doesn't make sense to say that now. Whether it is or not, these things are now in my hands, and the rest of the time is to dig deeper. Go, let's get out of here first. Long Fei said. San Wang and the others nodded violently. They have been imprisoned for too long. For the sake of the human race, they endured humiliation. Now that they finally have the opportunity to see the sun again, how could they refuse? Everyone left one after another. Of course, Long Fei naturally maintained his usual style and took away what he could take away. But what Long Fei didn't know was that the moment they left Huiyun Cave, 9 days above, in the midst of nothingness and chaos, a palace suddenly appeared. The purple air comes from the east, shining brightly in the world. And this palace is naturally Zixiao Palace. He has finally come to this step, it seems irreversible. A voice came from Zixiao Palace. Let him go, if it's so easy to reverse, I don't have to plan for so long. Another voice responded. After the sound, a figure slowly turned around. And he is the sea. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body. How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls, Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system, Beastmaster. Chapter 5766. Chapter 5766. Under the Sea of Darkness, Long Fei returned to the palace. Now he is already the master of this Sea of Darkness. It is bound to be like today's Qi is not here. Tianxin can be said to be obedient to himself. So, I am the uncrowned king. He raised his head to look at the void, looked at the majestic Immortal Kingdom Palace, felt the breath inside, and felt a slight movement in his heart. Qingying, you settle the 3 of them first, and I'll go see our neighbors. Long Fei said. The moment he finished speaking, Long Fei's figure instantly disappeared from the field. In the great hall of Immortal Kingdom, Ing seems to have been waiting for Long Fei. There were no guards by his side, no attendants of any kind. How? Long Fei got straight to the point. It's not good. Ing responded, neither salty nor dull, with a deadpan expression on his face. Long Fei pouted but didn't care. There was no surprise in Long Fei's eyes that Ing would show such a gesture. Great Emperor of the Immortal Kingdom, a detached person naturally has his own posture, as if he is himself. I am also a strong person in the unique realm, and I often have my own majesty. Kenshu. Zai with grave, it seems that Dahai has made a fool of himself this time. Such a terrifying existence has been cultivated in such a short period of time. Long Fei said. He walked all the way, how much he went through, before he became the only realm. But at this time, Emperor Xian of the Yin and Shang dynasties was actually in this realm, and this was the reason why Long Fei felt helpless in his heart. He is not the only one, his power is very unique, as if he is using the power of the common people. At this time, Ing suddenly said. Long Fei was taken aback, a little puzzled. To put it simply, it's as if I have never transcended before and borrowed the power of the common people and the fate of the country. He borrowed this power. As for him, as the master of this world, he can naturally use the power of all living beings. If I want to kill him, I must first destroy all living beings in the world. Although the widow has killed countless lives, I still can't do it if I really want to kill humanity, Ing said. Long Fei nodded. Of course he knew this. Ying's detachment is to rely on the power of all beings in the world, so naturally he will not do that kind of dehumanizing thing. But upon hearing this, Long Fei frowned slightly. If killing Dxin requires killing all the common people in the world, then they are doomed to fail in this battle. The sea is so high, it has to be the sea. Long Fei sneered. It is not an exaggeration to say that Dahai has grasped his psychology thoroughly. He knew that Long Fei couldn't do such a conscienceless thing, so he made this setting, which can be said to be invincible. With the help of the power of the heavens and the earth, how far can Dxin's combat power reach? Long Fei asked. Not inferior to others, Wen said. Long Fei was silent. This is awesome. Dahai has given him a trump card. Not only is Dishin himself strong enough, but he has also set up a second layer of protection. Let yourself think about the consequences even if you want to kill them all. It's hard enough, the sea has given me an unsolvable problem. Not only him, but also Long Batian. Long Batian must have something to rely on now, and the biggest possibility is the world of origin. Long Fei analyzed. Gradually the head grows bigger. So what are you going to do next? When asked. That's what matters right now. His expression was also extremely serious at this time. To be honest, when he went to Chowga before, he planned to break Chowga at once. But he still underestimated the world. As you said, if you want to get DXIN out of the game, the first thing you need to do is destroy his status as the king. Long Fei said. DXIN has the identity of a human king. He is the lord of the world, the king of human beings. Under the sky, the power of faith of countless creatures will be concentrated on him. If he doesn't break this layer of identity, there will be no solution to this journey. Yes, with this level of identity here, I will be stretched to do anything, Ing said. He had already discovered this in the previous battle. Although DXIN's combat power is not bad, there is still a big gap with the real transcendence. But this gap was made up for by DXIN as a king. Using the power of the common people, his combat power has directly undergone a qualitative change, reaching an existence comparable to the unique state. Ing also knows this kind of power. He was also very good at this kind of power in his own world. But unfortunately, he is like a rootless duckweed in this world. He is the great emperor of the immortal kingdom, not the great desolate emperor. Here, he has nothing to do. This is DXIN's world, and the common people belong to the great merchants, so naturally he cannot use that kind of power. Long Fei remained silent. As Ing said, this is fundamental. If you want to wipe out DXIN, the only way is to break the power of the human race under his control. Maybe I can try, Long Fei said. Huh. Win looked at Long Fei. I got something recently, maybe it can change the status quo. Long Fei said. Since Huayun Cave is related to the civilization of the human race, it must be related to the human race. If the mystery of this can be solved, then DXIN's problem will naturally be solved. What? When asked. Curiosity appeared in his eyes. After all, he had personally fought against DXIN, so he naturally knew how powerful DXIN was. Especially after merging the power of the world, it is the key that people dare not make a full-scale attack. So, at this time, Long Fei said that he had the power to suppress DXIN, and he became interested. It is this. Long Fei took out the bead he got before and put it in his hand. In an instant, Win's expression changed. As soon as this thing appeared, Ing felt that it was extraordinary. There is an air of civilization in it. There used to be a civilization in it, Ing said. His eyes were extremely serious. With his state of mind, he can tell at a glance that this bead is not simple. You're right. There was once a civilization in it, and this civilization was the human race, and it was the human race in this prehistoric world. Long Fei said in a deep voice. Omega Omega W. Net although he himself hadn't figured out what was going on, but with the group from Huayun Cave before, Long Fei also had a certain understanding of this bead. Win expression must. Human civilization here? He exclaimed. Yes, it's just about this bead. I still have some doubts. Long Fei didn't explain more. There are too many things behind this bead, and there are still too many unknowns. If that's the case, there is a chance. Ying's eyes shone brightly. He naturally understood the meaning behind the bead. If he can use the power of the human race in this world for himself, then the threat of Dishin will no longer exist. This is drastic. It will take time. I have to figure out what's going on behind this before I can make a decision. Long Fei said. After endless coma, Sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet breeding base. Trainee pet keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5767. Chapter 5767. Time goes by. 10 days have passed since Wynne returned. For 10 days, none of the 3 parties made any major move. The only thing worth noting is that the 3 religions in the prehistoric world have become active again. Not only that, but the 2 sages Jane and Juandi Sisi also joined in and became active between heaven and earth. However, Long Fei didn't care about this kind of thing. He doesn't care about this kind of existence at all. Since his appearance, the dominance of this world is no longer with them. So even if they became active at this time, Long Fei didn't have any worries. His center of gravity has long since ceased to be in the prehistoric world itself. In the past half a month, he and Ing had discussed the Tao under the Sea of Darkness, and the only thing he thought about was the beads that contained human civilization. It's just a pity that nothing came of it. There is nothing special about this bead at all. The only thing that can be perceived is the humanity contained in it. No, it's still not right. Whether it's your power or my detachment method, this thing can't cause any changes, Ing said. For half a month, the 2 tried many methods, using their own means to inject their strongest strength into it. But the results are all failures. Without any disturbance. This thing is very strange, I can't say it, but what is certain is that we are going in the wrong direction. To show the mystery, special power is needed. Long Fei said. Whether he wins or wins, their strength has already been said to be the most powerful existence in the world. But their strength is still not enough. For this bead, it has no effect. Do you think there is a possibility that this power does not belong to the present? Suddenly, Ing said. Long Fei was taken aback. Suddenly, it seems that he has grasped the key. In the next moment, a gleam appeared in his eyes. You're right, I've always felt that I overlooked something. Long Fei became excited. He ignored what he had seen before. He has already accepted that he put this thing in Huiyun Cave. But he didn't care about those pictures. Now, win a word to wake up. Now that any of their power is useless, there is only one possibility, and that is that power does not belong to the present. Kappa with a Q Delta 5. Netwin looked at Long Fei and didn't say much. Then what are you going to do? Win asked. It's not sure yet, but since we have a direction, the problem can be easily solved. If it's not the current power, it belongs to the future or the past. Long Fei said. Anyway, this is the only chance and he won't give up. Win remained silent. As soon as Long Fei opened his mouth, he already guessed what Long Fei was thinking. Travel through time. At their level, traveling through time and space is not an incredible means. The only problem is that even if you travel back to the past or the future, you can't easily make changes. A small change can even change the present. It's useless to travel through the past. You should know that nothing can be changed. Ing said. No need to change, all I want is to find the source of this power. Long Fei said. This kind of power will not appear out of thin air. Various factors have shown that it is closely related to yourself, so you must do it. Ding, congratulations to the player for triggering the system task and traveling through time and space. Mission requirements. I will go to the ancient times in the era of gods to ignite the fire of the human race. Mission time, 1 month. Mission reward, 3,000 culpas. Mission punishment, imprisoning the ancient times. Explanation. This task is an undeniable task, and the player has automatically accepted it. If the player refuses forcefully, the system will take other punishment method. At this time, the sound of the system suddenly appeared. But at this time the system has a lot to say. Obviously, he understood that with Long Fei's current strength, it was simply unrealistic to kill Long Fei with the power of the system. So in terms of punishment, there is no such thing as death or relegation as mentioned before. It doesn't make any sense. www. Novel. Com. Long Fei's strength has already exceeded the detection range of the system. It can be said that the current system can only guide Long Fei, and it is impossible to control Long Fei. Long Fei fell silent when he heard the system's sudden words. This was also the first time that the system appeared in front of Long Fei with such a posture. I didn't expect you to give love to? Long Fei chuckled lightly. This is something he never thought of. Ding, the system is not cowardly. If the player does not complete the task, or wants to forcibly contact the task with his own strength, the system will punish the player in another way. Said the system. This is his last stubbornness. Long Fei didn't take it seriously. Punish? What can be punished? Long Fei smiled contemptuously, disapproving. You're laughing. Believe it or not, I will send the winner back. Then you still want to compete with them? It doesn't exist, and you will lose before you start. Long Fei. He never expected that the system is so stupid that he would make a fuss about it. You won. Long Fei said helplessly. The system is silent. But Long Fei basically guessed that the corner of the system's mouth was raised at 45 degrees. But there is no way. On this point, the system really has this ability, even Long Fei can't stop it. Tell me, how can I go back to the ancient times? Long Fei asked. Regarding the power of time and space, Long Fei naturally knew about it. After all, he used to be the master of time and space, but with the appearance of Long Batian later, that period of karma was over, and he never paid attention to that kind of power. W. Alfaro. Xwo. Net of course, with the strength of his unique state at the moment, wanting to go back to the past is commonplace. Just going back by himself will definitely attract Dahai and Long Batian's attention. At this time, although they didn't appear on the stage, Long Fei believed that they must have their own means to capture their own state. If they leave Minghai, maybe they will be the first to know. In contrast, it would be better to use the power of the system, maybe there is the power to evade them. Ding, please choose the means yourself. But at this moment, a response from the system caused Long Fei to explode completely. System, are you a bit shameless? Long Fei was angry. I have already taken a step back. I didn't expect the system to be so stupid, and it wouldn't let me take a step. Ding, players have misunderstood the system too deeply. You think you can't avoid the power, can I avoid it? The system responds. It seems that the system also guessed the worries in Long Fei's heart, and at this moment, he opened his mouth to explain, expressing what Long Fei was thinking. Long Fei fell silent. I thought it was a bright future, but I didn't expect it to be nothing but joy in the end. Ding, players can ask the 3 emperors of the human race for help. While Long Fei was at a loss, the system said again. Long Fei was taken aback. The 3 emperors of the human race? Is it possible? Although they are not weak, they are still one step away from the unique state. With their strength, might they hide the truth from Dahai and Long Batian without anyone knowing? Long Fei didn't believe it. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5768. Chapter 5768. But mention the 3 emperors. After the 3 of them were brought back by themselves, they rarely showed up, and they didn't know what they were busy with, acting mysteriously. Ding, players don't know. The Fire Cloud Cave is not simple, it contains the last fire of the human race. As the emperors of the human race, the 3 emperors are the power to ignite the fire of the human race. The system continued. Long Fei. Why didn't you say that? Long Fei was paralyzed before he was in Huiyun Cave. He fell into suspicion a few times. The dog system was pretending to be dead. It wasn't until I got this civilization bead that I jumped out. But he didn't say this at the time, and now he repeats the old saying. Obviously, the system must have guessed Long Fei's situation when he was in Huiyun Cave. knowing that Long Fei must study the power of this bead. So at this moment it is natural to trigger the task. You didn't ask me either. The system kicked the ball directly. Anyway, it is absolutely impossible for him to admit that he did not act. Are you talking to your own system? At this moment, when Long Fei wanted to ask how the system should operate, Ing suddenly asked. Long Fei's expression changed. Can you feel it? This time, Long Fei was too shocked. Feel your scalp tingling. This is something he never thought about. The system has always been his biggest secret. Nowadays, although many people already know that they have a system, they have never noticed the existence of their own system. But now if he wins, it will make his heart suddenly bulge. How do you know? Long Fei asked back. His only worry now is that Ing is relying on his own strength perception. He is transcendence, and transcendence is the only one. If he can perceive it, then Long Batian and Dahai must have their own means to perceive it. That is to say, the conversation between him and the system at this time may also be perceived by the two of them. If this is the case, what about playing with wool? No, don't forget, when you summoned me, you also gave me one of these things. And there seems to be some connection between the two, Ing said. Long Fei's eyes moved and he felt relieved. Immediately he thought of a possibility. This must be the means that the system made before, so that there is some connection between the two. Otherwise, relying on Long Fei's knowledge of the system, he would definitely not make something that could make another system perceive him. However, what he said makes sense. I think that since all the causes emerged from the Huiyun cave, there might be a turning point in the matter. Ing said. Omega W. Net Long Fei nodded www. Until novel. Although I am a bit grumpy about the system, I must admit. The system has huge computing power, and the means are even more unimaginable. So what the system said at this time may be the only possibility to find the answer. Thinking of this, Long Fei contacted the system again. System, apart from what you said, there are no other restrictions on this mission, right? Long Fei asked. Ding, the player's cultivation level will be sealed, the system said. Long Fei. Come again. It had been a long time since he had been in a state where his cultivation had been sealed. Thinking back to the past, every time he jumped to a world, it was basically tantamount to starting all over again. I didn't expect to have to relive this feeling now. Although a little helpless, but more excited. Long Fei even felt a long-lost excitement. He has been invincible for too long, his strength is crisscross, and he has rarely had the power to give birth to a desperate mentality. Even the experience of the eternal lands doesn't count. Although the land of eternity is dangerous, its own strength is always there. But now, he is completely sealed. Ding, a friendly reminder, if the player is in crisis while repairing the seal, he will also die in the dungeon. In other words, if the player has an accident while performing a mission, many things will change, the system said. Long Fei was taken aback. This sentence made Long Fei hesitate. He can fight, but if it will affect everything that has happened now, Long Fei is unwilling. Now in the First Supreme World, his relatives have just stabilized. If an accident happens that affects them, the result will be an uncontrollable state. This is definitely not what Long Fei wants to see. System, can I refuse? Long Fei's voice was heavy. Ding, players can choose to refuse, but don't forget what the system said before, the system will have the opportunity to recycle the system that was made, and Ing will return to the original world when the time comes. Long Fei. This is already a threat. That is, he has no choice. Ing was listening the whole time, seeing Long Fei's state, he also fell silent. www.kaho5. Net he knew the seriousness behind this matter. Because once any accident happened to Long Fei in the ancient years, it meant that he himself would disappear and die. That is to say, he died in the past. A person who died in the past is naturally a person who does not exist now. then everything he did before will naturally change accordingly. This is the butterfly effect. Pull one hair and move the whole body. Even he didn't have the courage to make a decision about this kind of thing. Not to mention anything else, it is unknown what kind of era the primordial age was. But for sure, it was absolutely terrifying. In such a world, without any strength, it will be difficult. Ding, don't worry, the player, there is a system. The system will guide the player step by step, and will never let the player burp easily. The system continued. But Long Face sneered. Count on the system? That is impossible. Although Long Fei didn't dislike this kind of slave who was already a slave of the three families, how could he dare to trust him easily? That would be putting his life on someone else's body. Ding, player, what is your expression? Are you suspicious of the system? We have come all the way, and it is no exaggeration to say that we live and die together. I have never abandoned you. How can you show such an expression? You are the biggest insult to a system. Seeing Long Fei's expression, the system immediately became irritable and began to refute. Who gave you the courage to say such things? Liang Jingru? Haven't you ever given up? With the total death? You have the face to say it too? Long Fei was speechless. The system is becoming more and more unscrupulous now, and it really shocked him that he could even say such a thing. Ding, player, you have to be clear, that is a special situation. If it is not a special situation, the system will never make that kind of decision. Moreover, it is a kind of test for you by the system. Turns out that your strength is still reliable, you do it perfectly every time. The system continued. Shut up, stop talking nonsense, and go to Huiyun Cave. Long Fei interrupted the system. Since you can't change it, you can only accept it. This path is his only choice now, and he must do it. Soon, Long Fei found the three emperors, and they returned to Huiyun Cave. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body. How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders. Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the star reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system, Beastmaster. Chapter 5769. Chapter 5769 in Huiyun Cave. Long Fei and the others reappeared in the room where they appeared before. My lord, do you still have the futon you took away? Fushi asked proactively. Huh? Is that a prop? Long Fei's heart skipped a beat. Along the way, he had already explained his plan. When the three of them heard that Long Fei was going back to the ancient times and ignited the fire of the human race, their expressions were extremely excited. Especially Fushi, he is even more clear. When he first discovered the civilization of the human race, it was because of the guidance of the fire of the human race. It is precisely in this way that he has become the emperor. There are also human races in this prehistoric land. That's why he was extremely active along the way. I don't know, but I need to deduce it. My innate gossip can only maximize its power when it is on the futon. Fushi said. He has nothing to hide. Facing Long Fei, their strength was insignificant, and they were not that stupid to compete with Haoyue. Therefore, they did not have any taboos, and frankly admitted their shortcomings. Long Fei nodded, and without further ado, he found the futon directly. Fushi sat cross-legged on it and swiped his hand. Boom! A picture of innate gossip suddenly appeared in front of everyone. And with the operation of innate gossip, Fushi's face became more and more ugly. Looking at this innate gossip, Long Fei's mind was flooded with thoughts. It has to be said that although he has reached the unique state now, seeing this power at this time, he still feels shocked in his heart. This kind of power is extremely mysterious. It seems to contain the root of heaven and earth, which makes people obsessed. But he was still able to keep his mind clear. No matter how strong this power is, for him, he believes in absolute power, and only in this way can he stop the apocalypse in the years to come. Puff! But at this moment, Fushi suddenly spurted blood. He was also extremely pale. Kappa with a Q Delta 5. Net and the innate gossip he had drawn collapsed suddenly at this moment. My lord, I have deduced it. It does contain your power to return to the ancient times. However, it is not on the three of us, Fushi said. His face was extremely serious, and he was somewhat troubled. Long Fei was taken aback. This expression. Could it be that something happened? With a sinking heart, Long Fei asked, If you have something to say, just say it directly? No need to hide it. Yes. Fushi sorted it out and then said, My lord, if you want to go back to ancient times, you need not only the souls of the three of us, but also the souls of Nuwa's sister. Fushi said. Long Fei's expression changed. He never expected that such power would be involved behind this. Especially Nuwa, who actually needs Nuwa's soul power. This is something that Long Fei cannot do. He didn't want to take the risk. Now Nuwa is his woman. If there is any accident along the way, Nuwa may die. Long Fei would never take risks with his own women. No, this road will not work. If you need to take risks, then I would rather not take this road, Long Fei said. His expression was extremely serious, and there was no trace of joking. Fushi's eyes were full of gratitude. Long Fei brought them out of Huiyun Cave before, which was already a life-saving grace for them. Now that this emotion is shown again, they are extremely moved. But how did they know they were just incidental, and what Long Fei really cared about was only Nuwa? Don't worry, my lord, it's not that dangerous. But the spirit power of the three of us can only maintain the passage for half a month. And the soul power of Nuwa's sister will follow you back to the ancient times, and the current spirit will return to the ancient times. The most she can last is 10 days. That is to say, if you can't do what you want to do within 10 days, Nuwa's sister will be in a fatal crisis. And if your lord can't return within half a month, the three of us will die here too. Fushi said. He comforted at first, but then went on to explain. If you ponder down, reminiscent of what the system said before, I feel extremely helpless in my heart. There are only 10 days. There is no month at all. If I really keep the time at 1 month, when the passage is closed, I am afraid that I will really die in Taiku. Dog system, tell me the truth, have you been bribed and deliberately trying to kill me? Long Fei asked in his heart. Nothing, don't listen to their nonsense. The system blurted out and denied. It is impossible to admit such a thing. Not to mention that there is no evidence, even if it hit him in the face, he would not be able to admit it. Alfaro. Ned he knew Long Fei too well, and with Long Fei's temper, if he was really determined, he might destroy himself humanely. He will do it even if it is to clear the soul. Snort. Long Fei snorted coldly and ignored the system. I do. At this moment, a voice suddenly appeared. It is Niwa. Long Fei frowned. Why are you here? Brother Fushi informed me that you were coming to Huayun Cave, and I had a feeling in my heart that it might be related to me, so I followed along. Niwa said. But at the moment she is extremely dignified. It is not the supremacy of the Saint of Heaven, but the stalwart of being the mother of the human race. Long Fei, I know you are worried about me and don't want me to have an accident. But this time, I hope you can respect my decision. Long Fei was silent. He could hear the determination in Niwa's words. Okay. Long Fei agreed. He has no way out at this step. If he gives up, it means that he will be the first to leave the competition among the three. The price of leaving is to lose the cause of disaster in this prehistoric world. Although this power is not necessary, it may affect the apocalypse. This is a very intuitive feeling. It's hard to define. But at the level of Long Fei, any thought may change a lot. Moreover, the power he controls now also shows that he has really returned to the primordial prehistoric times. That's right, didn't you say that you saw a lot of pictures? If you don't go back to the ancient times, how can you put the civilization of the human race here? Niwa said. Long Fei nodded. Let's begin then. Long Fei is not a hypocritical person, since he decided to do more, there is nothing to hesitate. The three emperors nodded. Immediately the three sat down cross-legged. In the next moment, the mysterious light flashed on the three of them, and a group of spirits that belonged to them emerged. And with the appearance of the sole power of the three people, a mysterious colorful light suddenly rose in the entire Huayun Cave. This light is like a rainbow. Soon, it turned into a channel. Ing looked on in surprise. It's a strange power. It seems that there is a power that attracts the other side of time and space. Ing said shockingly. At this moment, he was indeed shocked. Even at his level, it feels unbelievable. The two time and space seem to have been implicated for a long time, as if between the ages the other side of the ancient time and space is waiting for this kind of power to attract. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body. How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Sure you also found 3 books beside it. Sure you picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Sure you. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Sure Yu's gaze was serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a stabbing pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5770. Chapter 5770. There seems to be some connection between the two. A sense of vastness and vicissitudes spread over the surface. Long Fei could even clearly feel an aura that did not belong to this era, emanating from the other side of time and space. That breath is extremely ancient, and there are many terrifying breaths surging in it. Of course, this horror is relative. That breath is infinitely approaching the only realm. But it is also approaching. The overall water is roughly equivalent to the 9th level of the Apocalypse realm, similar to the current by Qi and Wang Jian. But even this is enough to describe it as horror. You know how many such existences there are in this piece of world today. It is not too much to describe it as rare. This is already the strongest existence under the stranger. But at this time, the breath coming from the other side of time and space is clearly a group. In other words, in the prehistoric era there were countless strong people. My lord, the passage has been opened, but there is still one last step left. At this time, Fushi suddenly said. While speaking, he looked at Nuwa. Only one step away from Nuwa. Long Fei also looked at Nuwa with complicated eyes. To be honest, if possible, he didn't want Nuwa to put herself in danger. After all, this mission is extraordinary. If he couldn't complete his task within 10 days, then those who waited for Nuwa would be lost. But Nuwa seemed to be waiting the most. The moment she made eye contact with Long Fei, her spirit came out of her body, and then directly merged into the passage opened by the 3 emperors. And as Nuwa's soul merged into it, the channel instantly became radiant. Then, the scene on the other side of time and space is directly presented in front of you. Long Fei, my life and death are in your hands. Nuwa Qian smiled. Don't worry, if I can't complete the task, then I will collapse the whole Taiku, and I will protect you well. Long Fei said. In the next moment, his figure disappeared directly, turning into a beam of light and disappearing. Everything in the arena returned to calm. But what they don't know is that at this time, they are above the heavens of this prehistoric world. Dahai and a Taoist were staring intently at the Xuanguang mirror in front of them. In the scene, it was the scene of Long Fei passing through the time-space channel and disappearing before his eyes. After all, we have reached this point. Dahai seemed to be sighing www. Novel. Calm La, since you expected him to take this step, why didn't you stop him? With your means, it shouldn't be difficult to keep him in this wild world, the Taoist said. It doesn't make any sense, said the sea. Even if I can stop him from taking this step, it still can't change anything. I have deduced this scene countless times. Even if I prevent him from returning to the ancient times, it still can't stop him from creating the civilization of the human race. Dahai said. Even you can't stop it, so why continue to fight fearlessly? The world just goes with its own course. The Taoist's voice was heavy. This Taoist is naturally Hongjun. But at this time, he is a younger brother in front of the sea. Even if he is a sage of heaven, he is not enough to look at in front of the sea. You seem very unconvinced? Dahai said leisurely. This is not your world. You came here, opened up this place as your battlefield, and changed the operation of this world. Should I still be grateful to you? Hong Jun said dissatisfied. But there is no way, in the face of this kind of existence, his dissatisfaction is useless. You have to be clear, this world contains the power he needs, and this is destined to be here where he will come. Dahai said softly. What does he need? Hong Jun asked back. As the way of heaven. Naturally, Long Fei's arrival has long been here. It's just that he couldn't perceive Long Fei's roots with his strength, so he ignored it, not because he didn't want to, but because he didn't dare. Now it is even more shocking to learn from Daheku that there is actually the power that Long Fei needs in this world. Causes of robbery. There are many causes of robbery. Dahai said. Hong Jun, what is the cause of catastrophe? Dahai murmured slightly. Across the void and vertically, calamities will come. All kinds of calamities will appear in the heavens due to various reasons. What he needs is the cause of these disasters. Dahai said. Then why do you say that the world wants what he wants? Hongjuan's face became serious. If it was said that Long Fei and the others were somewhat repulsed before, now they are only shocked. Even flustered. He never thought that there would be such a weirdness behind his own world. You don't know what's going on in the prehistoric world? Don't you know how many catastrophes have occurred since the appearance of this world? The sea asked back. Hong Jun fell silent. There will be catastrophes in all the heavens and worlds, but it is the only one that happens so often in this world. Dahai said. Hong Jun didn't say a word. Only then did he understand the crux of the problem. It turns out that this is the root cause of everything. But if he goes back to the past, will he have an impact on the world? Hong Jun asked. Omega W. Net traveling through time and space, this kind of power, even if he is the way of heaven, he has never controlled it. No, to be precise, even if he had mastered the power to traverse time and space, he would not dare to do it. Don't remonstrate with the past. This is a rule. The past cannot be changed, and it can affect the whole body. The past has been fixed in time, and any slight change may lead to unknown disasters. It is precisely because of this that he is extremely worried when Long Fei travels back to the past. Don't worry, he naturally understands what you understand, and how do you know that he is destined to take this step now in the macro time and space? Dahai Yu said with a deep expression. Kappa with a Q delta 5. Net Hong Jun froze for a moment. His eyes gradually calmed down. If he cares, he will be chaotic. This world is his foundation, and he can become the way of heaven because he himself becomes the way of heaven. If anything changes in this world, even he himself will definitely be affected. But what Dahai said now made him think on a deeper level. Yes. From the perspective of eternity in time and space, the choice Long Fei made today is not a kind of destiny. Besides the two, there was another person who was also paying attention to Long Fei all the time. Although he didn't see the picture of Long Fei leaving. But the moment Long Fei left, he suddenly opened his eyes. It was Long Batian. Long Batian's eyes were extremely heavy. It is completely two people with the bold and unrestrained appearance before. No wonder you asked me to make him the master of time and space. Presumably it was for this moment. Although the secret key of time and space has disappeared, the secret land of time and space is still in this ancient place in the prehistoric world. Dahai, see, I can't understand more and more what's so special about Long Fei. It's worth paving the way for him. Long Batian said secretly in his heart. But at this moment, a figure suddenly broke in. My son-in-law, someone is here and wants to see you. See me. Long Batian became interested. Now he is in nothingness, and the person who can find here is not ordinary. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5771. Chapter 5771. At their level, it is easy to open up nothingness. Long Baishan's character is wild and unrestrained. He was extremely wild when he was in Long Mai Mountain, and now he has no restraint in this place of origin. Here is still a sea of beauties on the beach, red wine on deck chairs. If Long Fei was here, he would definitely be shocked too. Maybe they will yell. He was still in a state of desperation and couldn't figure out anything. Long Batian has already become a son-in-law here. Is there any reason? Is there still Wang Fei? Long Batian glanced at the other party indifferently. If he wants to see me, he will see me? Wouldn't it be embarrassing for me to tell him to wait? Long Batian said casually. But his voice fell. You are so arrogant. If I want to see you, do I have to wait? Suddenly a voice came. Immediately afterwards, a figure floated in, came to him, and sat on the chair next to him as if no one else was there. Grass, what class are you? You sit in the same chair as me. Long Batian was furious when he saw the person coming, and after a word, the scene in front of him changed and returned to chaos and nothingness. But only a moment later, the scene changed again. This is a palace hall. www.kaho5. Net Ing Gao sat on the dragon chair. Now we sit differently, Ing said slowly. You are playing with fire. Long Batian said coldly. Yes, now they are not a class. But in this picture, Ing is above the throne, but he is below the hall. The grade is different, but he is obviously much lower. The next moment, he waved his hand casually. Then, the scene in the field changed again. Directly back to before. Tell me, what do you want from me? Long Batian didn't continue to entangle on that issue. That kind of method couldn't be put on the table. There was no need to fight for the strong and the weak. Let's talk about Long Fei, Ing said. Long Fei? What's there to talk about? A little Karami. He has no chance of winning this battle. Long Batian snorted. He was so domineering, he didn't take Long Fei seriously at all. You don't know anything about Long Fei, Ing Dandan said. Long Batian's face sank. What did you say? Even if the person who brought Long Fei and you out takes Long Fei very seriously, you still dare to underestimate him. You are really ridiculous, Ing said frankly without showing mercy. Then how much do you know about me? Do you think that if Long Fei has you, he will win? A cold light flickered in Long Ba's eyes. They are all unique, they naturally have their own arrogance, how could they easily admit cowardice? No, Long Fei has never had the possibility of failure. If you can still regard this as a competition between the three of you, you are already doomed to fail. Ing Tundun said. Long Batian was taken aback. What do you mean? Logically speaking, the two are enemies rather than friends. Ying's existence is definitely Long Fei's spokesperson. In this battle, Ing represents Long Fei. If it weren't for his unique ability, Long Batian might not even be interested in meeting him. It's very simple, you just want to fight, you want to defeat your demons, and prove that you are better than Long Fei. But your point of view was wrong from the very beginning. Long Fei didn't want to fight with you guys just to prove anything. Competition. The one behind didn't join this competition to prove that he has absolute control. Ing Dandan said. Long Batian's face became heavy. He never thought about these things. From the beginning to the end, he thought that Long Fei dragged him into the robbery just to compete. But now as Ing spoke, he gradually realized that he was dominated by his own obsession. He wanted too much to prove that he was stronger than Long Fei, so didn't think more about it at all. But next, Ying's words made him change color instantly, without any sense of aloofness. Have you ever thought that Long Fei is walking a road of awakening? www. Novel. Com. A muddled world. There is no light here. But it's not pure darkness either. It's like returning to the mother's womb. Long Fei slowly opened his eyes. Omega W. Net incomparably depressing. At this moment, he felt as if he was in a coffin, oppressed and uncomfortable. Is this still in the mother's womb? Grass, what the are you playing? System, don't be kidding me. I only have 10 days. I don't need to seal my cultivation. Now if the mother's womb is reborn, let alone complete the task, I'm afraid it will be over before the birth is too late. Long Fei felt desolate, very helpless. It's so nonsense. It was the biggest mistake ever. He wants to travel through the ancient times, not go back to the furnace and rebuild. Ding, please don't lose everything, you can see your current situation clearly. It is impossible for the system to make such a low-level mistake. The system voice appeared. Hearing the system sound, Long Fei also settled down, and immediately began to perceive his current situation. This is chaos. Suddenly, a clear understanding arose in Long Fei's heart. The system, didn't you mean going back to the ancient times? But the current situation looks more like chaos. Long Fei said. Although the prehistoric world here is different, it is not absolutely different. For the division of Taiku, it should be the era when the monster race ruled the world. But that's not the case at all now. The transmission path is the player's choice, and has nothing to do with the system. The system simply failed, and did not admit its own problems at all. Long Fei. What a dog! If Eugene hadn't seen the shamelessness of the system more, and Long Fei's ability to resist blows had been greatly improved, he would have smashed the system at this time. Compared to the system running away at a critical moment, this kind of thing is simply a small scene. But Long Fei will not sit still. Leave the system alone. If this is in the chaos, it means that the sky has not been opened at this time. What I have to do now is to find Pangu and let him open the sky. Or, instead, I will open the sky. Long Fei thought about it. He can't just do nothing and let things take their course. He has only 10 days. If the task cannot be completed within 10 days, Nuwa will be in danger of life and death. He may not care about the outcome of the prehistoric world, but it is impossible for him not to care about Nuwa's life or death. With this in mind, Long Fei began to try to move. It's just that what Long Fei didn't expect was that his thoughts seemed to be able to affect this chaos and run amok. His consciousness dispersed, wandering in this chaos. Soon, he spotted a figure. This figure is in the center of the chaos, and the whole body is full of precious light, as if there is an incomparably magnificent power in the body. But this power was felt by Long Fei, but there was an extremely shocking thought in his heart. I'm born to be the only one? Is this world so scary? Long Fei suddenly withdrew his consciousness. At that moment just now, he felt that the figure wanted to open his eyes. He even felt that as long as he was one step short, he would be discovered by the other party. After endless coma, Shiryu suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, Shiryu subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, Shiryu quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5772. Chapter 5772. There is an indescribable breath in that body. But that was just one of them. What really shocked Long Fei was that he was born the only one. This is something he never thought about. Is this place really a prehistoric world? It's too scary. Long Fei felt shocked for the first time. Kenshu. Zai with grave after he broke through to the unique realm. He felt that no power could really move him in the future. But the scene just now directly impacted his soul. Born to be the only one. This is something he has never encountered. He made hundreds of turns and repeated breakthroughs in countless worlds before finally breaking through to this level. He never thought that someone could be born unique. System, what kind of world did you send me? Long Fei frowned. He is now feeling uneasy. With this power, he will struggle. He is currently in the state of sealing his cultivation base. If his cultivation base is still there, maybe he can still fight. But now there is no chance at all. His cultivation base has been sealed, and now in this chaos, it can be said that he is extremely weak. Although the current chaotic world looked ordinary, Long Fei knew very well that if the power here exploded, he would not be able to contend with the power of the elements of the world. It's difficult. Don't say that there is no opening of the sky now. If Pangu opens the sky at this moment, I will be the first to die. Even 3,000 gods and demons can't bear the power of opening the sky, and they have to hide in the depths of the chaos. Judging by the strength, I'm afraid I won't be able to withstand even one wave. Long Fei thought to himself. Open up the world. Although he has never seen that kind of power, he still understands the power of a unique state. Moreover, this is a chaotic world. He can be unscrupulous. It is unimaginable how terrifying it is when the power of a chaotic state explodes. For a moment, Long Fei felt heavy in his heart. Of course, the system naturally chose to lie down at this time. At this time, it is impossible for him to come out by himself. After the only time, the existence of the system is more like a drag bottle. No, I have to find a way to improve anyway. After a while, Long Fei calmed down. No matter what the current situation is, he has no choice. He only has 10 days to either die in this chaos, or break this chaos to complete his mission. But Long Fei will definitely not wait to die. Especially since this task is related to the life and death of Niwa. He can't afford to bet on it. Thinking of this, Long Fei once again radiated his spirit, spreading it little by little. This may be a bug. Although his cultivation base is sealed, the power of the soul that belongs to the unique realm still exists. At this moment, his thoughts are flying fast, and the entire chaos is shrouded in him. But there was no movement in that body. He didn't notice Long Fei's actions. Soon, Long Fei discovered chaos 3,000 gods and demons. These 3,000 gods and demons are also extremely tyrannical, and each of them has a power that is not inferior to the only one. But compared with the Pangu that he had seen before, there was still a big gap. Moreover, they were still in a deep sleep at the moment, but Pangu had already shown signs of awakening. According to the current situation, if I want to wait until Pangu opens the sky, I'm afraid it will take a while. I can't afford to wait. Either wake up Pangu or replace him. I will open it today. Long Fei thought in his heart. This is a decision made after observing the entire chaotic world. Of course, he had another choice, which was to wake up Pangu and force Pangu to take that step ahead of time. But this step is more risky. With his current state, it is very difficult for him to play well and survive without loss after Pangu opened the sky. Since Pangu can't wake up, I have no other choice. Only that step, I will open the sky. Long Fei made up his mind. System, don't pretend to be dead. If you continue to pretend to be dead now, then you might as well die together. Long Fei contacted the system in his heart. His power is sealed, and the only thing he can count on at this time is the system. He didn't believe the system would be powerless. He might have thought so before. But now that he came to this chaotic world, he realized that the system still had power that he didn't know. For example, seal. He is the only realm, but under the task, his cultivation base and strength are really sealed. That is to say, there is some kind of force in the system similar to rules. No resistance, no escape. And at the same time, this thought also gave him a deeper guess. That is, maybe one day the only thing I want to find is the system itself. Or that step is to go beyond the rules of the system. Ding, players, don't force others, I'm just a system. Long Fei. Shut up, I don't want to listen to nonsense. If you want everyone to finish playing together, then continue to play dead. But I can guarantee that before I die in this chaos, I will definitely do one thing, that is, you get killed. System. Ding, the system sensed that the player's emotions were on the verge of losing control, and the system chose to avoid it. Long Fei, try, as long as you disappear at this moment, I will end the mission immediately. Then you will be buried with Nuwa. Have nothing to say. With previous guesses, Long Fei felt that the system was pretending to be a grandson and was hiding something from himself. In this case, Long Fei naturally had nothing to keep. System. The system no longer responds, but it has never avoided it, and has always been on. Half an hour. The system voice suddenly appeared again. Ding, congratulations to the player for awakening the devouring skill. Ding, devouring has no limit, players can devour any power in the chaos to break through themselves. The system responds. Long Fei's eyes lit up. Really? This system really hides a lot of things behind its back. This kind of strength is exactly what he needs at this moment. With this method, he can guarantee that he can regain his strength in a very short time. Wait until I return to the only one www. novel. Com la at that time, you can try to open the sky. The light in Long Fei's eyes flickered. But at this moment the system sighed. But Long Fei didn't care about it, since now that the desired power has been obtained, other things are no longer important. If the system wanted to lie dead, he wouldn't care. Soon, Long Fei cut off the connection with the system and looked at the system panel. Swallowing skills. Forging black hole physique, born out of the power of chaotic black holes, everything returns to chaos, and everything returns to black holes. Seeing such a system introduction, Long Fei was amazed. The dog system has a lot of means. With such power, even the only one is jealous. Long Fei sighed. But soon, he was shocked. If there is no limit to this power, does it mean that I can swallow these 3,000 gods and demons? Even Pangu www. novel. An idea floated in Long Fei's mind. Immediately, his eyes became crazy. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. A novel app that has been running stably for many years, comparable to the old version of the book-chasing artifact, the source-changing app used by old bookworms, Huanyuan app. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the third book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet breeding base. Trainee pet keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system Beastmaster. Chapter 5773. Chapter 5773 In the Chaotic World. A figure began to shuttle frantically. Wherever he passed, wind and clouds swept away, and any elements of heaven and earth were swallowed up and disappeared. Ding! Congratulations to the player for breaking through the Return to Ruins realm. Ding! Congratulations to the player for breaking through the second level of Return to the Ruins. Ding ding ding! The sound of the system was numb, and it hadn't stopped since Long Fei devoured it. The power of this chaotic world is simply the power of good fortune to him. Although his cultivation base was sealed, but this power made him repair it again. The pure elements of heaven and earth, fire, water, and wind, these four forces baptized him, and at this moment his body is full of this force. And his cultivation has also been soaring all the way, and he has already entered the 6th level of the Apocalypse realm. In less than a few realms, he will enter the unique realm again. But at this time, the sound of the system prompt slowly slowed down. System, what's going on? The elemental power here hasn't decreased. Why does my power increase speed slow down? Long Fei asked. He was very puzzled. You will know once you feel your body. The system is no longer broken. Useless. It can also be said that Long Fei's threat was really useful, making him not dare to be too presumptuous. My body? Long Fei was a little puzzled. But soon he understood the meaning of the system. He checked his body. It's like a black hole. The body of a black hole? Long Fei's eyes were filled with surprise. He has seen a real black hole, and the power in it is extremely terrifying. If he hadn't been strong enough at that time, he might not have been able to get out of the black hole. System, you did a good job this time. Long Fei was excited. I haven't felt this way for a long time. He has been invincible for so long that he has become numb and lost the original feeling. But now in this chaotic land, he regained his original mentality. The crisis is imminent, but the courage to move forward. You may regret it. At this moment, the system voice said suddenly. But Long Fei had an inexplicable feeling. Regret? Crazy. If you can develop a black hole physique in this chaotic world, swallowing everything, thinking about it will blow you away, why would you regret it? Listen, what are you talking about? How can I regret it? However, the power of the elements in this chaos seems to be insufficient now. It is not enough to support me to continue to break through. Do you say that I am devouring 3,000 demon gods, or swallow the air of chaos here? Long Fei asked. He needs to improve. At this moment, Pan Gu was born and unique, but he has not yet awakened. This proves that the power of Kaitian requires at least a single realm. But at this moment, he is still a few levels away. But now the power of the heaven and earth elements here is not enough. It has reached a saturated state. No matter how much it swallows, it is useless. Therefore, at this time, Long Fei turned his attention to the 3,000 demon gods. But at this time he was still a little apprehensive. Although the 3,000 demon gods still have some gaps compared to Pangu, they are also in the only realm. If they wake up during this process, it will be very troublesome. It might even bankrupt his plans. The system advises players not to continue devouring it. The system continued. Long Fei pondered for a while. The system is a little weird. If it was before, the purpose of the system was to let oneself develop. But since he became the only one, the system seems to have been acting as a stumbling block. If it wasn't for my threat this time, I might not even give myself the method of swallowing this black hole body. www. Until novel. Impossible. You should know how much I care about the people around me. Now it has nothing to do with the mission, but with Nuwa. Long Fei said. If the mission fails, he will die. Moreover, Nuwa may face the ending of her soul flying away, which he does not want to see. It was precisely because of this that Long Fei was so determined. But judging from the system's reaction, Long Fei didn't want to pay attention to it at all. He didn't know the reason why the system would sing against him, but his will would not change, not to mention the system, even the sea. In the next moment, he directly cut off the connection with the system. With my current strength, if the 3,000 demon gods wake up, although there is no danger to life, it may even cause Pangu to wake up. When Pangu opens the sky, I may fall into crisis. Long Fei analyzed. His eyes locked on the land of chaos in front of him. This place is full of weirdness. If he is not careful, he may fall into a desperate situation. www. Until novel. Calm La, I don't have much time. There is no concept of time in the chaos, but according to what I'm devouring right now, 2 days should have passed. Long Fei continued to think. Time is running out. He only has 10 days to get out of the land of chaos, find out where the power of human civilization comes from, and even ignite the fire of the human race. Suddenly, Long Fei frowned. In this chaotic land, the sky is not open. Where are the gods everywhere? Long Fei seemed to have grasped the key point, and suddenly felt a chill in his heart. If there are no gods in this era, then there is no way to complete this task. In other words, the system gave itself a mortal mission. Could it be that the system really has Nigu, and wants to bury me in the mission? Long Fei's eyes were unprecedentedly serious. The posture shown by the system is completely different from before. It is said to be a system, but the posture shown is more humane than the original artificial intelligence brain. Except for the lack of a human body, what it shows already has a very clear humanity. As soon as this idea appeared, Long Fei couldn't calm down. Calm down, calm down. Long Fei forced himself to calm down, while constantly analyzing the changes in the system in his mind. The first change of the system was in the Eternal Land. After I died, the system should have been shattered logically, but at that time the system reappeared as I was reborn and stepped into the unique realm. That is to say, if there is a problem with the system, it has already started since then. Long Fei was silent, not even daring to move his thoughts, for fear of attracting the system's attention. And in that period of time, the only one who had this ability to make the system regenerate with me without anyone noticing, and even betrayed, was Hai. Long Fei shrank. In an instant, he felt as if he was caught in a conspiracy. That's right, I've been walking all the way, and I can basically confirm that Dahai has put a lot of thought into my system. He is the only one, and he is the only one who can make the system betray. A novel app that has been running stably for many years, comparable to the old version of the book-chasing artifact, the source-changing app used by old bookworms, Huanyuan app. But what exactly is he going to do? With his power, if he really wants to kill himself, it's possible. Long Fei's mind was in a state of confusion, and countless thoughts were turning in his brain. Although this was a guess, it shrouded Long Fei like a shadow. Gradually, Long Fei's eyes turned cold. No matter who it is impossible for him to kill Long Fei. Since there is no in this world, then I will create a god. In this way, the task will be completed when the time comes. But the top priority is to open the sky. Right now, the only thing that can allow me to reach this point is to devour 3,000 demon gods. The light in Long Fei's eyes flickered. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left you in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, sure you also found 3 books beside it. Sure you picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Sure you. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Sure you's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet breeding base. Trainee pet keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5774. Chapter 5774. The abnormality of the system made Long Fei uneasy. But it also stimulated the blood in Long Fei's bones. No matter who it was, he would have to pay the price if he wanted to plot against him. Not even the sea. In an instant, Long Fei's figure rushed out. After a few breaths, he came before a demon god. This demon is still in a deep sleep, but the breath is really the only one. A fierce look flashed in Long Fei's eyes, and without hesitation, he directly used the method of devouring. In the next moment, a demon was disintegrated at a speed visible to the naked eye, and streams of pure power crazily poured into his body. Ding! Congratulations to the player for breaking through the 7th level of Apocalypse. The sound of the system rang again. But Long Fei was too lazy to pay attention. Long Fei has already decided to deal coldly with this young man of the system and put him directly in limbo. Roar! Suddenly, at this moment, the demon who had been swallowed by nearly half of Long Fei began to roar. Then, he opened his eyes suddenly. Looking at Long Fei, who was devouring him in front of him, a look of incomparable anger flashed in his eyes. But Long Fei didn't care about it, but continued to devour himself. Ding! Congratulations to the player for breaking through the 8th stage of the Apocalypse. The system voice reappeared. Long Fei was still indifferent. Time is ticking. At this time, the demon has awakened. What he has to do is to completely solve the demon before it resists. Otherwise, if the demon revolts and triggers a war of chaos, he will completely lose his chance. Roar! This chaos demon god was roaring, struggling to get up. But unfortunately, at this time, he is already at the end of his strength. Moreover, there seemed to be a force in this chaos that was suppressing him, making it impossible for him to break free. Long Fei seemed to be thinking. It seems that only he is the only free person in this chaos. However, he didn't think too much about it. No matter what the reason was, it was best for the demon to be suppressed at this time, so that he could devour it conveniently. Ho ho! This demon was still struggling at the end, but it was at the end of the road. Under Long Fei's devouring, it directly collapsed visible to the naked eye. and Long Fei's cultivation was also at this moment successfully breaking through to the 9th level of Apocalypse. And it is the pinnacle, and it is only one step away from the unique state. Long Fei's eyes flickered, and he completely forgot about the system's previous nonsense. For him, strength is the only thing. One demon raised my strength to the 9th level of the Apocalypse. Even though the unique realm is difficult to cross, but the two sides have caused qualitative changes. I don't believe that these 3,000 demon gods are not enough to support me to do this. Long Fei's heart gradually settled down, and a look of madness flickered in his eyes. In the next moment, his figure wandered in the chaos and approached another demon god. On the prehistoric continent, in Xixiao Palace, several figures stood facing each other. What's going on? Can you give me an explanation? Didn't you mean the final competition? Why does it look like a group of us are revolving around the dragon? This is Dragon Batian. When Ing said that sentence before, he felt faintly uneasy in his heart. Immediately contact the sea. That's why today's Xixiao Palace meeting happened. In the arena, apart from Long Batian and Dahai, there is also Hong Jun. It seems that Ing told you. However, he doesn't know enough. Dahai said calmly, his face a little heavy. Omega W. Net, so, what's the situation? What's the origin of Long Fei? Long Batian looked towards the sea. For the sea, he is more familiar than Long Fei. After all, before Long Fei appeared, he was the protagonist in this world. It's just that Dahai later said that there will be a catastrophe between the heaven and the earth, and if it can't be stopped, all living things in the world will be wiped out. At that time, countless galaxies will fall into silence. There will be no more traces of life. So from then on, he was forced to withdraw from the stage of history. After tens of thousands of years of silence, only then did Long Fei rise gradually. But he always thought that no matter how strong Long Fei was, even if he became the only one, he was just a younger brother brought out by Dahai, who was cultivated to deal with the catastrophe of the world. At least until now, he always thought so. But at this moment, he felt that his cognition had been subverted. The words Ing said lingered in his ears even more at this moment, and it lasted for a long time, which made him feel extremely bored in his heart. He said, "Have you ever thought that this is Long Fei's road to recovery?" At that time, this sentence was like a bolt from the blue. After all, at their level, sometimes a single thought can deduce changes in the heavens. But Ying's words directly made him see the destruction of the world, and saw an indescribable and irresistible force enveloping countless universes. And then, it's all over. He may be the biggest cause of disaster in the heavens. Dahai said. Long Batian, I'm stupid. Chaotic world. Long Fei has already killed madly, devouring madly. He could clearly feel that his physical body had completely transformed into a black hole physique. Possessing all the power of the black hole, he can devour the power of everything in a radius of tens of thousands of miles with a simple move. Kappa with a Q delta 5. Net including the elements of heaven and earth, including chaos itself. Even, the more he swallowed, the more excited he was. The increase in strength obsessed him. But at this moment, he has devoured more than 2,000 chaos demon gods. As for the power, it is boundlessly approaching the unique realm. It's so cool. My strength is increasing crazily, although I haven't broken through to that level. But I can feel that my strength is no less than that of the only level at this time. Even if it is Long Batian, I can do a battle. Long Fei was extremely excited. Before, he always thought that the unique state is the absolute existence, and the power under the unique state is absolutely irreversible. But now, Long Fei seemed to have discovered a new continent. The essence of power actually has nothing to do with realm. He has walked along the way, and the cultivation level is equivalent to nothing to him, and killing people by leapfrogging is even more common. It wasn't until he broke through to the unique realm and saw the horror of the unique power that he came up with a kind of thinking, that is, the power below the unique cannot threaten the existence of this realm. But at this moment this thinking is directly broken. Although I am not the only one now, the power swallowed by a black hole is stronger than the black hole itself. www. Novel. La the black holes existing in the deep space of the universe need to be accumulated day by day, and it takes countless years of changes to strengthen them. But he is different. What is directly devoured is a piece of heaven and earth. The elements of heaven and earth, the power of chaos, and even the strong in the unique realm are his nourishment. This is also doomed. His black hole experience is absolutely invincible. Just like now, a chaos demon god can't make any waves in front of him, one bite at a time. However, the creatures in the chaos seem to have sensed the crisis. Some demon gods have awakened ahead of time. It seems that I must hurry up. Also, I heard that the creation green lotus was bred in the chaos. I don't know if I can have the power of creation after devouring this power. Long Fei thought. Immediately, his figure turned into a ray of black hole light and moved forward again. After endless coma, you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading Novel app has updated the latest chapter content. In view of the general environment, this site may be closed at any time. Please move to the Permanent Source Replacement app, Huanyuan app. Org as soon as possible. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body, how could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left you in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, you also found 3 books beside it. You picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders. Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Yu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5775. Chapter 5775. The world of chaos has undergone earth-shaking changes. With the appearance of Long Fei, the entire chaotic world has long been in chaos. The power of the elements of the world has disappeared, and even the energy of chaos has become extremely thin. Along with Long Fei's and scrupulous devouring, the demon gods also woke up one after another. At this time, deep in the chaotic world, where is Pangu? If Long Fei was here, he would definitely be shocked. Pangu, whom he had been worried about all along, had already awakened. However, it did not directly open the sky as the legend said. He got mixed up with the demon god directly. And beside him is a green lotus blooming 10,000 zhang in the chaos. Pan, what's going on here? Didn't the consciousness given to us by chaos mean that you came to open the sky? Now this is a creature that ran in. It's so cruel that less than 100 of our 3,000 demon gods are dead. Yeah, it's terrifying. If he didn't devour it too violently, causing chaos heaven and earth to give an early warning, we might not be able to wake up, and we might not be able to escape the fate of being swallowed by then. It's scary to think about it. Yes, the appearance of this person has broken the rules of chaos, it's too terrifying. The demon gods gathered, but at this moment their faces were filled with fear. A bad name is useless, in front of Long Fei's terrifying power, any bad name is a joke. I don't know, but he seemed to be next to me when he just arrived. It's just that he was just an extremely weak consciousness. I thought it was a creature conceived by chaos, so I ignored it. I just didn't expect that such a short time he can grow to such a degree that he has already threatened you and me. Disk said. He of course is Pangu. They were not at war at this time, just as a demon said before, their existence was conceived by chaos, and chaos also gave them consciousness. Naturally, they all knew that under the rules of the coming of chaos, all they needed to do was to wait for the sky to open up and completely create a world. And they are silent in the chaos, waiting for the first era to open. Wap. K with Macron USH mu 5. Net, but now it seems. What a fart, they are basically dead. There is no other way. Since this existence can conceal the perception of the chaos matrix and possesses such a terrifying devouring power, it is impossible for us to avoid it even if we want to, Pan said. In a sense, he is also one of the 3,000 demon gods. And it is the strongest, because he is the first creature conceived by chaos. Therefore, his words are also very leading. As soon as he opened his mouth, many demon gods fell silent. But their expressions were extremely serious. What do you mean? You can't avoid it, do you want to fight him head-on? A demon asked. He took stock and nodded. No, you have never seen his power. We are food in front of him, one bite at a time. If we really want to stop him, I'm afraid we may not be able to stop him for a while. He objected directly. Since they are conceived creatures, they must have already had their own consciousness. Seeking advantages and avoiding disadvantages is the instinct of a living being. Long Fei's strength gave them a fear they couldn't face. If they didn't want to avoid the fate of being swallowed, how could they come here? A novel app that has been running stably for many years, comparable to the old version of the book-chasing artifact, the source-changing app used by old bookworms, Huanyuan app. Org, if you can't, you have to. Don't forget, chaos is our matrix, and her will is the mission we have to fulfill. If we can't stop him, chaos will be destroyed by then. Do you want to see it? Pan asked. Immediately, he turned his gaze to Wanzhong Qinglian beside him. This is my accompanying treasure. Although it is not yet mature, it is too late now. As he spoke, he slowly got up, and then casually grabbed a giant axe from the chaos. Boom! With a sudden swing, the giant axe erupted with a monstrous divine light in his hand. Katsa! Wanzhong Qinglian fell to the ground. In an instant, several lotus seeds flew out of it. The lotus seeds fell to the ground and bloomed, turning into three-color refining one after another. Gold, red, and black respectively. Whoosh! Afterwards, three figures rushed forward to fight for the three lotus flowers. Hey, according to the guidance of the mother body, it should be after I open the sky that the power of this green lotus will turn into a treasure, generate civilization for this world, and make the world good. But now we are facing the enemy, and we have nothing to do gone. Pangu's eyes were extremely complicated. But at this moment, he didn't have any hesitation, and the next moment, he shot again. Ha ha ha! The white lotus root was cut off and turned into a wisp. Then, he was split open and turned into a long sword. Then, the red flower also gradually changed, and finally turned into a jade wishful handle, and this stem also lost control, and turned into a scarlet spear the moment chaos landed on the ground. Okay, originally this power shouldn't have only bred this little thing, but now that it is destroyed in advance, it can only be derived from these divine treasures. Next, let you and I use this power to see who is disturbing our world. Pangu's face was serious. But what they didn't know was that they were on the edge of chaos at this time. Long Fei had stopped devouring. He could no longer find the strength to devour it. Moreover, in front of him, there was a human face. This face is naturally transformed by chaos. Did you ever think about the consequences when you did this? The voice was a female, so why? Kenshu. Zai with grave Long Fei frowned slightly, feeling surprised when he saw the person who suddenly appeared in front of him. Who are you? Long Fei asked. I am the spirit of chaos, you can also call me Dao. The voice responded. Spirit of chaos? Long Fei's eyes shrank, a little apprehensive. But soon, this fear disappeared. www. Novel. Calm. This is the spirit of chaos. If I swallow it myself, does it mean that I can step into the only one step ahead of time, and if I swallow Pangu and other demon gods at that time, my strength may surpass my peak. The more I think about it, the more possible it becomes. Even the eyes that looked at this chaos spirit were full of greed. You want to devour me? Chaos spirit asked suddenly. That's right, I devoured the elements of heaven and earth in this chaos, I devoured the demon god, but I feel that this kind of power is not enough for me to open the sky. If I devour you, maybe it will be enough. Long Fei's eyes sparkled. In other words, never have I longed for it like this moment. It was as if there was a voice in his heart telling him that as long as he devoured the spirit of chaos, his mission would be easily completed. You have been confused by your obsession. I can feel that you have a great power of disaster. Your existence is the cause of destruction created by higher civilizations. It's just that someone has been helping you suppress it, but if you devour me, there will be no turning back. The Chaos Spirit said suddenly. Long Fei was taken aback for a moment, and then a look of disdain appeared on the corner of his mouth. What the hell? Are you crazy? I am a good person, and I have been working on how to solve the apocalypse calamity. Why suddenly became the cause of destruction? How funny! Long Fei didn't take it seriously, thinking that the Chaos Spirit was only afraid of death, so he would say such a thing. No matter how much you say, it won't help. Since you are the spirit of chaos and the Tao, then your existence should be above the Tao of heaven. Maybe you can swallow you, so that my power will be closer to perfection. At that time, I will come today. Come on, I will create the world and the creatures. Long Fei said, the madness in his eyes was burning like fire, and in an instant, he rushed towards the spirit of chaos. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5776. Chapter 5776. The appearance of the Chaos Spirit drove Long Fei into madness. At this time, his obsession with power has become like a madman. There is only one voice in his heart, and that is to become stronger. As long as the swallowing can become stronger, no matter what it is, he won't care about it. Boom, boom, boom. The nothingness and chaos instantly rioted, and as the terrifying devouring power erupted from Long Fei's body, the face condensed by the spirit of chaos also revealed a look of panic. As the spirit of chaos, the whole chaos is her carrier, so she naturally knows the horror of Long Fei's devouring along the way. Long Fei, you will regret it. The chaos spirit spoke again, just like what he said before. The only difference was that at this time, he called out Long Fei's name in one gulp. Long Fei paused and looked towards the chaos in the sky. He knew that the spirit of chaos had been hidden. How do you know me? Long Fei's eyes were full of shock. He came to this chaotic world along the passage of time. Here, he is a person from another time and space. Logically speaking, if he does not belong to this time and space, it is naturally impossible for anyone in this time and space to know him. However, at this moment, the spirit of chaos called out his own name, which was the key to Long Fei's shock. Not only do I know you, but I also know why you came here? But you are wrong, you have already taken the opposite path invisibly, said the chaos spirit. There was surprise in Long Fei's eyes, and his child's eyes tightened. The opposite way? Is it possible? Everything I am doing now is to stop the apocalypse. If it is the opposite way, then what is it that I am doing now? Open the apocalypse robbery? Destroy everything? How can it be? I have never had this kind of thought. Bewitching is useless? I can go this far, which is enough to prove that my heart is as strong as iron. You can't control my will, and you can't change your ending either. Long Fei said calmly, www. Until novel. Calm, like extremely indifferent. At this moment, the words of the chaos spirit made him extremely irritated. The system said before that he would regret it, and now this chaos spirit is like this. But why would he regret it? As thoughts flickered, Long Fei's eyes were full of hostility, making him even crazier. In the next moment, his figure poured directly into the chaos. Suck. Long Fei opened his mouth and sucked, and the boundless and terrifying devouring power erupted. In an instant, the aura of this chaotic world poured into his body like a storm. He could even feel an almost full power surging in his body. Cool. This feeling of full power makes Long Fei feel extremely refreshed. He has been chasing power all his life, and he has experienced too much in order to climb to the top. But at this moment, as the power transformed by the spirit of chaos entered his body, he truly felt the unparalleled power. It was even scarier than when I was alone. However, the system didn't make any sound at this time. But Long Fei ignored it. He also had doubts about the system, and the system remained silent at this moment, so he didn't bother. Re-entry is the only one. With my current strength, it should be easy to break this piece of chaotic world. Long Fei thought in his heart. His eyes burst into madness. He couldn't wait to prove his strength. After all, he still has work to do. Even if he doesn't believe in the system now, he doesn't want to take risks. After all, Nuwa's life and death are also related to it. Long Fei, stop. Otherwise, when you realize it in the future, you will definitely regret it. The spirit of chaos reappeared, but at this time she was already a residual spirit. Not only was her breath extremely weak, it seemed that she would dissipate at any time. Even his tone of voice became extremely weak, as if he had accepted his fate. Long Fei didn't take it seriously. He has no mercy. He scoffed at her words. Regret? Why should I regret? As long as I devour you and other creatures in the chaos, my power will reach an unprecedented height. Then, I can create gods and demons, dragons and phoenixes, witch races and human races. I can create civilizations one after another to bring everything out of order and get back on track. Similarly, when I finish these, I can in the prehistoric era, if I detonate the conferred god quantity calamity, I will get the real cause of the calamity. At that time, I will be able to unravel the true mystery of the land of origin and prevent the apocalypse. Tell me, why should I regret it? Long Fei continued. Kenshu. Zai with grave, but his explanation is more like a kind of self-comfort. It was as if he was telling himself and giving himself an explanation. He. Long Fei. The spirit of chaos smiled miserably, and no longer responded. It even dissipated on its own initiative, and finally turned into a ball of pure energy and poured into Long Fei's body. And in front of him, the chaos of the world also dissipated. At this moment, Long Fei's strength finally changed again. Even a familiar force was sensed by Long Fei again. That power is cultivation. It is all the power that I have controlled before. Cultivation recovered? Was it unlocked by the system? Long Fei was overjoyed, and before he had time to think about why the chaos spirit would suddenly dissipate by itself to perfect himself, he was shocked by this sudden scene. No, it's impossible. The dog system already has 2 minds, so how could it help me? So, my devouring power is strong enough, has reached a critical point, and then broke through the power of the system? Long Fei thought again. It was the only answer he could think of. The power to break through the system? So, now that my 2 powers have merged, my cultivation has reached a new high. Long Fei's eyes flickered. At this moment, he has a feeling. 3 words. Invincible. Other than that, he couldn't find any other description. Even, at this moment, he had an urge to compete with the sea. No matter how strong Dahai's cultivation is, he has never surpassed the limit of the Only One, and I should be the limit of the Only One at this moment. He was the analyst. His eyes were burning like fire. Boom. Suddenly, without waiting for his reaction, a white glow descended from the sky. Long Fei slowly shifted his gaze, looking at the figure in front of him. His eyes were indifferent. You devoured the spirit of chaos. A big man with a huge axe said. Hatred and anger intertwined in his eyes, and he regarded Long Fei as an enemy. I didn't look for you, but you came here on your own initiative. Just leave the matter of opening the sky to me, and you can become my nourishment. Long Fei said. His figure flickered and turned into a black hole. Directly filled the entire chaotic black hole. This is the ultimate state of devouring power. directly wrap the world and even the plane. It can be said that in this state, he can devour everything. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, one after another figures began to melt at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even if they were demon gods, even if they were the only ones, they would burst like bubbles in an instant. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders. Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5777. Chapter 5777. 1 After another, figures began to disappear before their eyes. Except for Pangu and a few demon gods who controlled the treasures that the Chuangshi Qinglian decomposed and turned into, the remaining dozens of demon gods lost their resistance in an instant and disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Impossible! How could you be so strong? It's only been a few days, why are you so terrified? Pan's eyes were extremely shocked. He also sensed Long Fei's breath before. But he feels that he is in the chaos now, and as the first creature conceived by the chaos, coupled with the power possessed by controlling the creation Qinglian, he thought he could change the ending, change the fate of the chaos being swallowed, and then continue to execute his own actions. Duty of. That's why he summoned the demon gods to deal with Long Fei. But at this moment, Long Fei's terror was completely beyond his control. Long Fei, who had already transformed into the sky of the black hole, naturally couldn't hear his words. The terrifying devouring power was still running crazily, devouring everything. In an instant, the demon figures in front of him disappeared one by one. Even the treasure that was transformed into the Qinglian of creation of the world couldn't stop it for a few breaths, and the treasure disappeared one after another. Only Disc left. At this time, Pangu was still struggling to resist. He opened his eyes angrily, extremely unwilling. Since his birth, he has only one belief in his heart, that is to execute the will of chaos and complete his mission. He always thought he was the son of chaos. Opening up the world and creating creatures is the mission I want to perform. But now it fell short. Just when he woke up, this chaotic world had already been destroyed, and the power that should belong to him was about to be swallowed up. That's why he was so angry. But suddenly, as if he had received some information, his eyes froze. The next moment, he directly gave up resisting. I understand. There was a trace of sadness in his eyes. It turns out that my mission has never been to open up the world, but to fulfill you. He finally understands. This is his mission. However, there was not much hatred in his eyes, but a kind of pity. Looking at Long Fei, who was still immersed in devouring. You will regret this. This was the last sentence he left behind, and in an instant, his figure dissipated and turned into nothingness. The vast chaos has completely turned into nothingness so far. And Long Fei's figure also reappeared, and he was sent to recover from the incarnation of the black hole world. Kappa with a Q delta 5. Net, sorry Kumba. Long Fei's expression was indifferent. For some reason, when he heard the word regret again, the anger in his heart burst out uncontrollably. Kenshu. Zai with grave, everyone said they would regret it. But no one said a word to him. Why would he regret it? After a while, Long Fei suppressed the anger in his heart. After devouring the disc, my strength seems to be further improved. Although the system is no longer broadcasting. But I can feel that my strength is stronger. Long Fei thought to himself. The next moment, his heart moved, and a big axe appeared directly. It is the sky-opening axe. But this world is markedly different. You must know that the aura that Pan showed before he woke up was the unique state, the only existence born, and his accompanying sky-opening axe is naturally not bad. Even stronger than the weapons that Long Fei had controlled before. Now this chaos no longer exists. Without the elements of heaven and earth, without the energy of chaos, it's like nothing. As long as I swipe lightly, I can open up the world. Long Fei's eyes flickered. In a few days, I finally came to this step. The next moment, he swung the axe in his hand. Boom! A cold light flickered between the sky and the earth in an instant. Immediately, the heavens and the earth opened up, the clear air rose, and the dirty air sank. However, because Long Fei had already devoured the elements of earth, fire, water, wind, heaven and earth, and even the spirit of chaos, the world he created was extremely unstable at this time, as if it would collapse at any time. Grass, do you want to spit out the power you swallowed before? Long Fei was stunned. But he didn't think about it, and with a movement of his body, he started to stand on his feet, dragging the sky up. At the same time, the elements of heaven and earth began to escape from his body. Soon, visible to the naked eye, the world finally stabilized as the elements of heaven and earth continued to surge. The sky and the earth are all presented. Long Fei also stopped at this time. There was a look of satisfaction in his eyes. Although some power was lost, he was fearless. The power that had been devoured already belonged to him and would not disappear, and it would naturally recover over time. It doesn't seem to be difficult to open the sky? Then it seems that the legend is not true. This kind of loss is not enough to destroy a unique existence. Suddenly, Long Fei began to think again. His plan is coherent. Definitely not just Kaitian. Opening the sky is only the first step, and creation is his pursuit. This naturally connects him with the legend. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, countless dark thunders appeared above the open sky. It quickly pierced through the sky and landed in this newly opened world. Even, the world began to fall apart as if it was about to collapse. Long Fei's eyes sank and he quickly thought of another point. The cause of the robbery? He sensed the power of Jie-in from the thunder. In an instant, a gleam appeared in his eyes. Open heaven tribulation. I understand that opening the sky is only the first step. To stabilize the sky and the earth, we must let the sky and the earth survive the disaster. So, I'm going to experience a catastrophe? Looking at the sky full of thunder, Long Fei thought in his heart. But before he could think about it, there was a sudden tremor under his feet, followed by cracks sprouting from the ground under his feet, and hot magma was mixed with it, flowing against the sky. When the sky is opened, it is destroyed. To open up the land is to destroy the land. This is the first calamity of opening the sky, destroying the sky and destroying the earth. And Long Fei was in this catastrophe. This kind of power is very turbulent, making him feel uncomfortable at this moment. What a strange power of catastrophe! However, now that I am in this catastrophe, it seems easier for me to capture some information. The cause of this catastrophe is the opening of the sky, www. Novel. Com. Because of the opening up of the world, this catastrophe occurred. Long Fei analyzed. He had experienced the cause of the catastrophe twice in the depths of chaos and the land of gods and demons in the prehistoric world, and predicted the result of the catastrophe. So at this time, in this catastrophe, one can clearly perceive the cause and effect of this catastrophe. Because it is the opening of the sky. The result is destruction. It seems that the fruit of any calamity is the same, it's all for destruction. But this time it won't work, my task has not been completed, it is really destroyed, how can I live? If it's really the apocalypse tribulation, I might still be afraid of it, but now it's an apocalypse tribulation, so you want to defeat me? Don't even think about it. The power of chaos, replenish the world. The power of gods and demons, guard the nothingness for me. Ferocity erupted from Long Fei's eyes, and in the next instant, infinite power erupted from him. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading Novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance, he was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls, Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5778. Chapter 5778. Long Fei was fearless. At this time, He has absolute confidence in his own strength. Although it is said that this catastrophe contains the power to destroy the world, but he is already the only peak. Don't care at all. Boom boom boom. And with the power scattered around Long Fei, the violent air of chaos fills up the sky and covers up the sky tribulation thunder. The power of the gods and demons that had been swallowed turned into immortal power, turning into mountains, making up for the cracked earth. As for Long Fei, he stood in the midst of this catastrophe, as if he was invincible, forcibly overcoming the catastrophe of opening the sky. Boom www. Novel. Com la boom boom boom. But what Long Fei didn't expect was that the power of Kai Tianjie was still raging and violent. Even though his power smoothed the world, there was still power spreading out. Katsa! Katsa! Countless thunderbolts fell on Long Fei. In an instant, Long Fei's flesh and blood turned out, and blood flowed constantly. But Long Fei didn't care at all. He stood still, stretched out his hand, turned into a palm print that covered the sky, directly penetrated nothingness, and crossed the sky. Soon, a void force emitting thunder was caught in his hands. The power of Lei Zhe? That's all. Long Fei said lightly, and opened his mouth to swallow it directly. The body of a black hole swallows everything, even if it is the tribulation thunder that opened the sky. He has the confidence to swallow it. It's just that this group of power slipped away from his fingers a little bit and disappeared. Long Fei didn't care. The fundamental power had already been swallowed by him, and the remaining point did not pose the slightest threat to this world. But at this moment, Long Fei's eyes were attracted by the scene in the distance. I saw that the moment he hit the ground, the flesh and blood that had been split apart by resisting the catastrophe unexpectedly appeared 3 shadows. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. At this moment, thousands of muddy horses galloped past Long Fei's heart. Those 3 shadows turned out to be a giant dragon, a unicorn, and a phoenix. But the appearance of these 3 creatures at this time is definitely not simple. Kappa with a Q Delta 5. Net Long Fei contacted the ancestor Long Yuanfeng Shiqilin in a single thought. He never thought that this kind of creature was born in his own hand. Suddenly, he felt a strange feeling. But what was wrong, he couldn't tell himself. But he couldn't help thinking about it. Although the source of thunder in nothingness has been swallowed by him, the apocalypse calamity is not over yet. The hot magma on the ground is still pouring the earth. With no expression on his face, Long Fei punched the ground suddenly. Rumble. An abyss that cannot be captured by the naked eye appears in front of you. At the same time, cracks appeared on the ground, and the magma flowed into the abyss along the crack. After doing all this, Long Fei stopped for a while. However, he knew that the heaven-opening tribulation was not over yet. The heaven-opening tribulation won't end like this. Moreover, this world is too fragile and needs to be tempered. Long Fei thought in his heart, showing a helpless expression. It's like a monk crossing the catastrophe. Crossing the catastrophe is a kind of tribulation, but if you can survive it, it is also a kind of good luck. However, at this moment, Long Fei felt that he was too impulsive. But there is no way, the path I choose, I have to walk on my knees. Also at this moment, above the emptiness of heaven and earth, a mass of light suddenly descended. The day is like fire. In an instant, this newly opened world became transparent, as if no power could bear the light of the sudden sun. Long Fei stood up abruptly. No matter what, this piece of world still bears his own mission, so naturally he won't watch it collapse. The next moment, countless heaven and earth elements escaped from his body. How much has been swallowed, how much is released at this moment, and returns to heaven and earth. But of course, even if he is released at this time, he will only be weak for a while, and his strength will also recover in the future. Time passed, I don't know how long it has passed, the world finally calmed down. The 4 elements of earth, fire, water, and wind permeate the space between heaven and earth. The world is finally stable. Above nothingness, that round of great sun hangs steadily above the sky. But the sky is still cracked, and the earth is still full of ravines. Abysses invisible to the naked eye also appeared, and under the scorching magma, many high mountains gushed out. So far, the embryonic form of heaven and earth has also been formed. Between the sky and the earth, Long Fei's figure lay flat on the ground. Even if he recovers his cultivation base, or even breaks through before, he still feels extremely painful to resist this catastrophe. But fortunately, opening heaven tribulation did not continue. It's just that Long Fei's face is full of strange expressions. Gone. He waited for a long time. He thought this was the beginning of the catastrophe, and there must be more violent power. It's just that I haven't seen any power come down after waiting for a long time. That's it? How powerful do I think it is? The thunder is loud, but the rain is light. Long Fei looked at the void and thought secretly. He thought that Tianqi Jie would definitely have unexpected power, but it stopped abruptly at this moment. But it's okay, I don't have much time left now. Long Fei was also extremely satisfied with the result. He has been in the land of chaos for several days. Of course, this concept still does not exist in this era. Long Fei recorded the time based on his own cognition. Furthermore, the system has not said that it has given any prompts so far, which proves that this mission is still going on. Concentrating his mind, Long Fei got up on this barren land. This era should be the true ancient times. It's just that there are so many gods and demons. Is it possible that I really want to create it myself? Long Fei pondered. It can be said that he is the only living being in this world at this moment, and his task is to ignite the fire of the human race among the gods and demons. That is to say, he does not even have the prerequisites to start the task, let alone complete the task. System, don't pretend to be dead, don't talk about anything else. How should we continue with this mission now? Long Fei contacted the system. Doubt is doubt. Wep. K with Macron USH Mu5. Net, but at this stage, it still depends on the system. System. The system is unresponsive. Long Fei, it's boring for you to do this, the system. You gave me the task. Even if you want to be a second 5 boy, you have to wait for me to finish my task first. Long Fei said. With his knowledge of the system. Behind every system downtime is just pretending to be dead. This time there will certainly be no exceptions. Ding, the player status is detected, the system will automatically block, and all previous tasks will no longer be retained. And just as Long Fei's voice fell, the system's voice suddenly fell. But this time, it was different from before. Even if it was a system upgrade before, tasks will also be preserved. It may be a selective change, but the main task will be eliminated directly. But this time was different. The system seemed determined to part ways with Long Fei, directly denying all tasks. Long Fei's face changed, and the system's response made him feel abrupt. Eyes narrowed. You sure? There was also a chill in his voice. Ever since the system showed its will against him several times, and even threatened him to send the winner back, he already had an opinion in his heart. Now this answer is even more equivalent to saying that he wants to completely cut off with Long Fei. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a stabbing pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5779. Chapter 5779. This answer surprised Long Fei. He didn't think about it. He thinks that even if it is broken now, the system will most likely play dead. But at this time the system fell silent again. It seems to be caught in a dilemma, a state of war between heaven and man. Long Fei also fell silent. Suddenly, countless pictures from the past appeared in my mind. Ding! Congratulations to the player for awakening the strongest upgrade system. Ding! Congratulations to the player for beheading. Countless familiar voices hovered in my ears. Omega Omega W. Net. But at this moment, the voice was extremely ironic to Long Fei. He never thought that the system would betray him one day. Very chilling. And the silence of the system at this time seems to be another answer. Ding! The location of the previous mission target, the player will mark it to the player. The task of returning to the ancient times is cancelled, and players can return to the prehistoric era. At this moment, the system sound appeared again. This is like the last gift to Long Fei. In an instant, a coordinate called the place where the stars fell appeared in Long Fei's mind. But the moment he saw this coordinate, Long Fei's childish hole suddenly shrank. This location. It was the prehistoric world he lived in. System, what does this mean? Why did the place where the stars fell turned into a prehistoric world? Long Fei's eyes were full of doubts. If the prehistoric world is the place where the stars fall, then why didn't you remind me before? Tu Shan Xiaoya's breath. However, the system has no response. Even at the moment when Long Fei's voice fell, there was a crackling sound in his body. Katsa. He felt dizzy. It was as if something had pulled away from his body and disappeared. Pain. Suddenly, Long Fei felt a sharp pain in his heart. This feeling is indescribable. It is even more worrying than watching his brother transform into Tianju back then, which made him unable to restrain his sadness. With a sore nose, Long Fei felt a hot air in his eyes. But he was forced to go down. He, Long Fei, was going to be strong all his life, so how could he be sad for a 25-year-old kid? But he knew that the system really left him this time. At the same time, the prehistoric world. At this moment in Zhixiao Palace, Dahai, Hongjun and the others all looked solemn. But suddenly the world trembled. Everyone's eyes moved, and they vaguely felt that there had been some kind of change in the world. Boom. But before they expressed their emotions, the Zhixiao Palace in front of them suddenly began to collapse, falling apart, and cracks appeared one after another, as if it would collapse in the next moment. It was also the first time that an accident appeared in Dahai's eyes. It's as if something is out of control. What's going on? What's going on? He changed the past? No. At this moment, Hongjuan's figure gradually became illusory in front of everyone's eyes, as if he had become a rootless duckweed and was about to disappear. He finally took this step, Dahai said in a deep voice. But at this time, another person in the same space had a look of interest in his eyes. It's really unexpected that what's behind it is so interesting. Then I don't understand. Since I already knew the result in my heart, why did I go to great lengths to train Long Fei? Long Batian didn't care about Hongjun. How about it? Even if the world collapses, he won't be moved in the slightest. Www. Until novel. Calm, the only thing he was interested in was Long Fei. Because it's irreversible. Throughout the ages, the apocalypse tribulation happened not once. No one can reverse it, and neither can I, Dahai said. Irreversible? I want to try. If Long Fei dies, will this apocalypse tribulation still happen? Long Batian's eyes showed killing intent. This killing intent is real. It doesn't look like a joke at all. In the past, he did give up his own ideas and was not going to continue to target Long Fei. After all, with Dahai here, Dahai would not allow him to attack Long Fei. Moreover, the apocalypse is coming. Although he is not a saint, he is compassionate. But I don't want this piece of the world to really be destroyed in a catastrophe. After all, if the world is really destroyed, there will be only one person in the world, which would be too boring. But too many things have happened recently. Especially when he learned of what was hidden behind Long Fei. He no longer suppressed it, and his killing intent erupted instantly. You don't have that ability. However, Dahai just glanced at him lightly and then said, Long Batian, are you thinking too highly of Long Fei? Don't forget that the core of my unique state is the power of time and space. If I am in the era where Long Fei is now, it is not impossible to kill him. If he dies in time and space on the other side, then there will naturally be no more him in this world. Long Batian responded. He does not believe in evil. He didn't believe that they were both in the same realm, and they were all cultivated by Dahai using means. There really is such a big gap between him and Long Fei. You can try it, I won't stop you, Dahai said. Long Batian pondered slightly. But at this moment, the changes in the world finally disappeared. Even Hongjun, who was about to disappear before, reappeared in front of the two of them. Hongjuan's face was full of fear. Even if he is the patriarch of the Tao of Heaven, he is a party of the Tao of Heaven, he still feels terrifying at this time. Wep. K with Macron USH Mu5. Net the power that appeared just now was irreversible, with an aura of absolute destruction, as if to cross time and space to obliterate him. Moreover, it is so overbearing that it cannot be resisted, and it will be absolutely destroyed. You can't do it, Long Fei is too terrifying at this time. He panted heavily. You know, Baroness, you know what terror is? Long Batian said disdainfully. It's fine if Dahai looks down on him. A little Tian Dao even dared to deny him, why should he? Hongjuan's face was not good-looking, but he did not refute. He knew that in front of Long Batian, his way of heaven was vain. Even if Long Batian thinks, his own way of heaven may really be destroyed. But he pondered for a moment and still said, just before I disappeared, I saw him. He devoured everything and created this world. It can be said that he is already invincible in this world, and he is equivalent to the absolute ruler. Even if he returns, he is still the master of this world. No, it should be said that he is the master of the Tao. Hongjun said solemnly. The way of heaven and the great way are two concepts. Simply put, the way of heaven seems to be a rule, but the Tao is the existence that formulates the rules of the Tao of heaven. And Long Fei was such an existence at this time. Long Batian pondered slightly, but then a more intense light appeared in his eyes. The same inexplicable excitement. The Lord of Heaven and Earth? The Lord of the Great Tao sounds pretty good. Since this is the case, I have to try to see if I can kill him. Long Batian said coldly. He was also an invincible overlord. Nature also has its own pride. The next moment, he waved his hand casually, and a passage suddenly appeared in front of him. At the same time, he glanced at the sky. Everyone, come out. Go get someone with me, kill them, and the transaction between us will be completely over. Long Batian said. Immediately afterwards, dozens of figures suddenly appeared in front of them. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to read the latest chapters, please download the Star Reading app, and read the latest chapters for free without ads. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a stabbing pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5780. Chapter 5780. The aura of these figures is also extremely terrifying. Each of them has an aura that is not inferior to Hongjun. www.kaho5.net. In other words, they are all strong in the unique realm. Long Batian, why are you looking for us again? Said one of them. But soon, his eyes fell on Hai. As soon as Tong Kong received it, the aloofness on his face disappeared, and the dignity of being a strong man in the unique realm also dissipated. I have met you, my lord. The change in expression at this moment is enough to show the respect he has for the sea in his heart. Dahai looked calm, as if he didn't care about everything, and nodded lightly. And the dozens of people behind this person also locked their eyes on Dahai at this time. Everyone lowered their heads. It seems to be very familiar with the sea. You do your own thing, don't pay attention to me, Dahai said. Everyone nodded. Long Batian's expression changed slightly at this time. He ignored everyone's gaze, but set his eyes on Hai. As far as I know, you have never been in the place of origin. Why do they respect you so much? Long Batian asked, with a puzzled look on his face. He thought that with his strength there were no secrets in the heavens. But now it seems that he is too wishful thinking. He still has too many unknowns. I don't want to explain some things. I can only say that nothing has changed. Desolation and helplessness appeared in Dahai's eyes. It's as if he made a lot of effort, but in the end he returned without success. Long Batian's eyes also became serious. This was the first time he saw such emotions in the sea. The strength of the sea has reached an unparalleled level, and there is no way to describe it. At least for him, he absolutely admires it. There was never even the thought of competing with the sea. Can't it be changed? If I kill Long Fei, does it count as a change? Long Batian asked back. Forget it. But unfortunately, you can't do it. The sea was still calm. Then wait and see, Long Batian said. A cold light flashed in his eyes, and then he looked at the dozens of figures in front of him. Call someone. Concentrate the power of the entire place of origin, and follow me to kill Long Fei. After that, I will put the power of the first generation system to the core of the place of origin. Long Batian said. The eyes of dozens of people in front of them suddenly changed. Originally they were dissatisfied with Long Batian's call, but when they heard his words, their eyes became extremely sharp, and they even showed strong desire. Is this true? Someone asked, looking at Long Batian solemnly. Of course it's true. This power has long been useless to me. Without systematic power, I'm still invincible. Besides, in a sense, you are still my father-in-law. We can say that family, how could I deceive you? Long Batian said. A cold light flickered in everyone's eyes, as if they were irritated by Long Batian's words. But soon, they still endured it. In comparison, this stimulus is nothing compared to what Long Batian promised. Okay, as long as you keep your word, then do it, said one of them, the one from the beginning. After speaking, there was a little emptiness in his hand. A blazing white light suddenly exploded above the void. That ray of light is like an eternity, it can traverse thousands of miles of the galaxy, and with an unfailing brilliance, it rushes into the depths of nothingness. I have already summoned all the existences of the unique realm in the land of origin. As long as they come here, plus you, as long as the Long Fei you are talking about is not an existence like this Lord, he will definitely die. The man said. Long Batian nodded. This is the answer he wanted. As for the sea, he just looked at it calmly at this moment, without saying a word. And Hong Jun, at this time, became a prop man. He exists to witness these people in front of him. This time, I won't let you down. Long Batian looked at the sea with murderous intent in his eyes. It seems that this is his obsession, just to prove in front of the sea that he is the strongest one. The sea was silent, but it did not stop Long Batian. Soon, one after another figure suddenly broke through the air. Moreover, they all came in real bodies. The man recounted the conversation between himself and Long Batian. Go ahead, what are you waiting for? If you kill Long Fei, my place of origin will reach the peak. Maybe I can research the power to curb the apocalypse. That's right. Moreover, I have never done this kind of thing to travel through time and space to kill people. I naturally want to try it. Long Batian, let's start. Even Wei Jing couldn't keep calm at this time. All of them had fiery eyes, and locked their eyes on Long Batian. Walk. Long Batian had been waiting for a long time. Seeing everyone's emotions at this time, he smiled at the corner of his mouth and rushed into the time channel without any hesitation. Then, 100 figures jumped into it one after another. Soon, all the figures in the field disappeared, leaving only Hong Jun and Dahai. Can they succeed? Hong Jun asked. Hai shook his head. I don't know. Hong Jun asked tentatively. But soon he gave a wry smile. How could one not know about the existence of the sea? The only possibility is that it is impossible to succeed. It's still the same sentence, nothing can be reversed, nothing can be changed. Dahai said with a little deep meaning. In the next moment, his footsteps moved www. Until novel. Com la boom. Ripples fluctuated in the nothingness in front of him, and a space-time channel appeared. Hongjuan's eyes were shocked. Long Baishan's methods are already invincible, but he didn't expect the sea to be more terrifying. It is also a space-time tunnel, but he can feel that the power of the sea seems to be above time and space at this time, and even time and space are just playthings in his palm. He could even collapse space-time if he wanted to. My lord, you also want to go back to the beginning of the world, in order to kill that Long Fei? He dare not guess. Scared to the extent of the sea, if he wanted to kill Long Fei, would there be any hope of Long Fei surviving? Dahai paused at this moment. No, I'm here to collect something and create something. As Dahai said, his figure slowly disappeared, and the ripples in the nothingness also disappeared. Chaotic world. After creating the world, Long Fei didn't move anymore. At this time, he was like a rock, sluggishly standing in place. He did not return to the prehistoric era. The disappearance of the system upset him. It had been a long time since there was an existence that could affect Long Fei's mood like this. In a sense, the system was his first brother who went through life and death, but he didn't expect that it would end up like this. Saw it. It was as if a corner was missing from my life. It's hard to describe the feeling. Disappointment, the last emotion expressed by the system, is disappointment. Is he disappointed in me, so he gave up everything? Long Fei thought to himself. At this time, his mind was complicated and chaotic. The disappearance of the system did not affect his strength, and even gave him a feeling of a wild horse running wild, as if after today, he could unscrupulously display his power. However, he always felt that he seemed to be missing something, and this feeling was uncomfortable. But at this moment, there was a sudden flash of brilliance in the nothingness, and fluctuations appeared. Long Fei raised his head abruptly. Tong Kong shrank. Time and space tunnel? After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to watch the latest chapter content, please download the Star Reading app, the latest chapter content without ad. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders, Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Ear Girls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, His brain suddenly felt a stabbing pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet breeding base. Trainee pet keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system Beastmaster. Chapter 5781. Chapter 5781. Long Fei's eyes turned cold. The appearance of the spacetime channel made him feel a sense of crisis. At his level, he is extremely sensitive to certain crises. At this moment, he already figured it out in his heart. This is someone passing through the spacetime tunnel, trying to travel through time and space to kill him. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of him. That is Long Batian. When he was in Longting before, Long Batian used this kind of power, so now there is and only this possibility. As expected, the moment his mind just fell, a figure walked out from the spacetime tunnel. It was Long Batian. Long Batian, you still have a wicked heart, so you want to compete with me so much? Long Fei asked. He was already upset in his heart, and seeing Long Batian appearing at this time was even more upset. He thought that Long Batian had given up, not to mention the relationship between the sea, but as far as the relationship between the two of them was concerned, he felt that the things in the past could be let go. But I didn't expect Long Batian to be so ruthless. Even if he traveled through time and space, he wanted to kill himself. I did give up, but unfortunately, you are no longer who you used to be. Long Batian said. Is your head showing off? Am I not me? Who am I? My tender father? Long Fei laughed back angrily. What a joke. This argument is too ridiculous. He naturally knows in his heart whether he has changed from before. The authorities are obsessed. If I didn't know something, I wouldn't bother to pay attention to what happened back then. After all, you and I were brought out by the sea. To a certain extent, I am your senior brother. But it's a pity that many things will have a perfect answer after you die. Long Batian said coldly. Brother, you're paralyzed, I'm dead? What if I die, even if this world is infinitely beautiful? Without my existence, this world is meaningless to me. Long Fei's eyes were full of anger. Long Batian's words made him very upset. There is a perfect answer to what it means to be dead. Why? Some things I can't tell you for some reason, but that's the truth. So you are going to die. Long Batian continued. Long Fei sneered. Hee, if it's true as you said, then I don't mind ending everything with my own hands. After finishing speaking, he turned his gaze. Let the people inside come out, I want to see what kind of power you have prepared to kill me. Long Fei said. The next moment, figures came out from the spacetime passage. The 100-person team just appeared in front of Long Fei. Long Fei shrunk, with murderous intent raging in his heart. 100 unique. This battle was to punish himself to death, and he never thought of giving himself a way out. It seems that you are determined to keep me here. Long Fei said coldly. Beg for mercy? Admit? Impossible. He hadn't done this kind of thing back then, and he wouldn't do it today either. Yes, it's good for everyone if you die, so why don't you die? Long Batian remained expressionless. After finishing speaking, he turned his eyes and looked behind him. Everyone, let's take action. As long as he is dead, I will definitely do what I promised you. As soon as the voice fell, his figure suddenly disappeared. Immediately afterwards, he reappeared, already in front of Long Fei. At the same time, he punched out. Long Fei had no expression on his face, as if he had already expected that the moment the punch landed, he would strike with a bang. Also merciless. This punch was the power given by the system after he broke through to the only realm. The only punch. But Long Fei had never used this power. It is so powerful that one punch is enough to collapse the world. But at this time, he didn't hesitate. Before life and death, there was nothing to consider. Let alone the collapse of the world, even if the universe was destroyed, he would still fight. He never gives up. Life and death are indifferent. If you don't accept it, you will do it. Even if there are 100 uniques, he is not afraid. Rumble. The power of the two collided, and the violent power destroyed the world. The world that had just stabilized showed signs of collapse at this moment. The sky split open, and countless lights and shadows fell down. A sky fire descended from the sky, carrying the aura of destroying everything, scorching the entire land. And the figures of Long Fei and Long Batian also touched points. Each retreated hundreds of feet. But Long Batian's face was full of shock at this time. Just one punch at this time made him feel the strength of Long Fei. That kind of power overwhelmed the heavens and the earth, absolutely berserk, seemed to have surpassed the heavens, and no power could stop it. Long Fei was expressionless. Long Batian was shocked by his strength. He was also shocked by the power of Long Batian. With one punch, he had a preliminary understanding of Long Batian's power. Long Fei, I didn't expect that you have reached this level now. Compared with the last time we met, your strength has improved a lot. Long Batian said leisurely, with a dignified expression on his face. Long Fei didn't take it seriously and said lightly, "It's you, I'm a little disappointed. I thought you would surprise me by taking this step earlier than me, but the result is nothing more than that." Long Fei said lightly, "Dragon Batian is very strong. Even if you face such a force before breaking through, you may be suppressed. But at this moment, no. To Long Fei, this kind of power was only very strong, that's all." In an instant, Long Fei looked at the people behind Long Batian. The corner of his mouth twitched. The only thing is not being invincible. No matter how many people there are, it's useless. I don't know what condition Long Batian gave you, so that you can kill me without hesitation across time and space. But unfortunately, this place will be your place of burial. Land. Long Fei said coldly, with boundless killing intent. Omega Omega W. Net to W. Kahu 5. Net he will not show mercy to the enemy, whether it is Long Batian or these people. If he dares to kill him, he will be completely destroyed. What are you waiting for? Shoot directly. The only thing is not invincible, but he is not invincible either. Long Batian shouted. The next moment, his figure moved again. And with his attack this time, the space-time of the world began to fission, and the space-time in front of him began to distort. www. Until novel. Calm at this moment, he mobilized the power of time and space. Long Fei's expression sank. He sensed the power in front of him. Time and space distortion? His eyes were slightly serious. At this moment, he could clearly perceive a breath of destruction. This is the power after time and space are distorted, as if countless time and space are mixed together, and the riot has the meaning of collapse that wipes out all living beings. It is no exaggeration to say that if one is coerced by this force, the distorted space-time force can crush a person. Even the unique environment will not be spared. Is this the power of your unique realm? It's very strong. If it was before I came here, I might be in trouble. Long Fei looked at the time and space ripples in front of him, and said leisurely. In the next instant, his body began to change. The flesh and blood directly turned into a black hole. Like a Jedi flooding the galaxy. The terrifying power of devouring also emanates from it. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to watch the latest chapter content, please download the Star Reading app, the latest chapter content without ad. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body. How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders. Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Eargirls. Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. Chapter 5782. Chapter 5782. At this moment, Long Fei's body seemed to sink into nothingness. Even though the tearing power of spacetime distortion in the heaven and earth was still spreading, it did not affect Long Fei's transformation in the slightest. Kappa with a Q delta 5. Net with one move, he turned into a black hole. Of course, this is only the initial state, and as Long Fei turned into a black hole, there was a complete riot in front of my eyes. There was a look of astonishment in the eyes of countless people. Even if they are the masters of the place where they originated, even if they have long been immortal, they have long been the only ones in this era. But seeing the aura displayed by Long Fei at this moment, he still couldn't calm down. Black hole? How is it possible that he can turn into a black hole? This is the incomprehensible power in the universe. Even if I wait in it, I can't come out unharmed. How can he have such power? Incarnation of a black hole, he possesses such terrifying power. The only powerful people who came to the place of origin were shocked. Stronger than them, they are all silent at this moment, with a dignified expression. They are all in the unique realm, and they also know that when they reach this realm, they will control a unique power like the Tao. Under this power, all the rules are in their hands, and they can gallop freely and unrivaled. But this power is not invincible. As Long Fei said, the only realm is not invincible. For example, between them, the control power is different, and there is also a big gap in strength. This is why they have nothing to do with Long Batian. But at this time, Long Fei made them fear even more. They saw in this battle that even the mighty Long Batian was defeated, and there was nothing he could do under Long Fei's hands. Although there is no winner yet, but at this time Long Fei turned into a black hole, the result can be imagined. This is your power? Black hole? Long Batian stopped attacking, and the ripples in the void gradually disappeared. He obviously knows the horror of black hole power. What? Cowardly? Long Fei asked back. The corner of the mouth also smiled lightly. This black hole power may seem terrifying, but it is not his only power. His power is too diverse, including the only means given by the system, and all kinds of power obtained in the only burial place. But there is no power that really belongs to him. Admit it? Have you ever seen me counseled? The only thing that is not invincible is that the black hole is not extinguished. What I dislike most is your arrogant appearance. Long Batian said bitterly. Then try. Long Fei responded. Too lazy to talk nonsense. Things have come to this point, there is no possibility of good. This battle is no longer about deciding who is superior, but about life and death. This time, only one of them can live. In the next moment, Long Fei's figure took a sudden step and turned into a black hole, and the terrifying devouring power naturally erupted accordingly. Boom boom boom. In an instant, the time and space distorted by Long Batian collapsed instantly. It seemed that he had no power to resist Long Fei's coercion from the black hole. Long Ba's expression changed. He turned around and looked at the crowd. Aren't you going to make a move yet? At this time, he also knew that facing Long Fei, his own strength was simply not enough. And for a unique existence, if you want to kill it, it is definitely not something that one person can do. Unless it's the sea. That's why he let so many people shoot at the same time. In an instant, the figures of the crowd changed, dispersed the world, and surrounded Long Fei. They knew that at this time, they couldn't have any selfishness, let alone underestimate them. Long Fei is too strong. The power of this black hole made them also have a life and death crisis. At this time, you can only work hard, otherwise the result will be unimaginable, and you may even stay here. And from Long Fei's attitude, it can be seen that this is a decisive master of killing, either he dies or they die. In an instant, everyone exuded an aura that stretched across the sky. Like hundreds of great roads shining brightly in space. Rumble. Rumble. At this moment, the whole world began to collapse again, reaching an irreparable state. Long Fei's eyes became even more severe in an instant. A ferocious look appeared in his eyes. Do you dare to destroy the world I created? Then use your strength to fill it up. Long Fei said lightly and then grabbed it casually. Boom. The power of the black hole unfolds. The power of devouring spreads. Boom boom boom. The void also began to explode, and the duel between the two sides officially opened at this moment. The river of time and space. At this time, Long Batian made another move. He shouted loudly, and then pulled out the long river of time and space. Crash! The turbulent waves beat the sky, and isolated Long Fei on the other side of the long river. And at this moment, Long Fei, who was outside the long river, had undergone earth-shaking changes in an instant. As if strangled by the power of time, it acted on him at a speed visible to the naked eye. Between breaths, Long Fei became an old man. Qingxi turned into Huafa. The skin also became wrinkled, and the blood was dry, as if he would die at any moment. This change caused joy to appear in the eyes of everyone above the void. At the same time, he also took a higher look at Long Batian. End the void and rob it vertically. Long Batian's power of time and space is the power to cross the void, an irreversible existence. Even if it is the only realm, even if it is truly immortal, it is useless in front of this kind of power. Kenshu. Zai with grave, they can clearly perceive the horror in it. In other words, Long Fei, who was extremely tyrannical, walked farther than them on the only road. If it were them, they might have died under this power. Long Batian is also extremely terrifying. The power of time and space can suppress the only immortal. Even the only one has a time limit and will die. Yes, I hope to kill Long Fei. He can't live, time and space, without the only attribute, everyone will die. Several voices appeared. Omega Omega W. Net at this time, they were shocked and expectant. They both lamented the mystery of Long Batian's power, and hoped that this power could kill Long Fei, so that they would be able to retreat without making a move. But at this time Long Fei was still calm. He watched the years leave marks on his body. Even at this moment, he could feel that time, space and time had come to an end on him. To the end of the void. It seems that you really want me to die. Outsiders just lamented the horror of the Dragon Batian's power. But only Long Fei could clearly feel the true strength of this power. Time and space exist forever, and he, who is on the other side of the long river of time and space, has experienced the changes of the ages in this instant. A moment in a long river, a wave is 1,000,000 years. And in this moment tens of millions of time and space waves have left marks on his body. In other words, the tens of millions of years he has experienced. He is also the only one who can survive in this situation. He raised his head slowly, his eyes met Long Batian's. At this time, Long Batian was not feeling well. Exercising this kind of power cost him a lot of money, even using his original source. Long Fei, you are indeed stronger than me, even my strongest means can't take you away, Long Batian said in a deep voice. His eyes were gloomy, with a kind of helplessness. This is his lore power, and he even has the confidence to use this power to kill any unique one. Long Fei is an exception. After endless coma, sure you suddenly got up from the bed. If you want to watch the latest chapter content, please download the Star Reading app, the latest chapter content without ad. The website has not updated the latest chapter content, and the Star Reading novel app has updated the latest chapter content. He took a big gulp of fresh air, his chest trembling. Confused, puzzled, all kinds of emotions came to my mind. Where is this? Afterwards, sure you subconsciously observed his surroundings, and then became even more at a loss. A single dormitory? Even if he was successfully rescued, he should be in the ward now. And my own body? How could there be no injuries at all? With doubts, sure you quickly swept his gaze across the room, and finally settled on a mirror by the bedside. The mirror reflected his current appearance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, and he was very handsome. But the problem is, it's not him. Download the Star Reading app and read the latest chapter content without ads for free. My previous self was a handsome young man in his 20s who had been working for a while. But now, no matter how you look at it, this appearance is only the age of a high school student. This change left Shiryu in a daze for a long time. Don't tell him that the operation was a success. The body and appearance have changed. This is not a question of whether to have surgery or not, but a fairy art. He turned into a completely different person. Could it be that he crossed over by himself? In addition to the mirror on the bedside, which was obviously placed in a bad feng shui position, Shiryu also found 3 books beside it. Shiryu picked it up and took a look. The title instantly silenced him. Necessary Beast Breeding Handbook for Novice Breeders. Postpartum Care of Pet Animals, Guidelines for Evaluation of Alien Beast Eargirls, Shiryu. The titles of the first 2 books are quite normal. What's the matter with you in the last one? Cough. Shiryu's eyes were serious, and he stretched out his hand, but soon his arm stiffened. Just when he was about to open the 3rd book to see what it was, his brain suddenly felt a sharp pain, and a large amount of memories flooded in like a flood. Icefield City. Pet Breeding Base. Trainee Pet Keeper. The website will be closed soon. Download the Star Reading app to provide you with the most powerful upgrade system. Beastmaster. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.